Nope.
Oof. You know, I knew that was going to be the answer, but
Wow.
You know what, man? I had to go do shit for my trip tomorrow, so I did not have time, unfortunately.
no one else did either.
I don't think Travis has ever been on Twitch in his life. So.
I did when I do podcasts. Yeah, no, I
But
don't.
Taylor has no excuse. So.
I know we do the golf.
I did like a big old fancy, I made an overlay for it and everything.
It's a nice outlet, I have to say.
I promoted it, you know.
Oh, have you seen the overlay?
I've seen the overlay.
Did you just do the picture or do you actually like the stream?
I don't know. I've seen the overlay.
Because I did something fancy and there's like a slideshow of all of the links that you can find in there.
Oh
It's real nice.
shit. This guy
You know,
put
it's
in
not
the
just,
extra
like,
effort.
solid. Took me so long to do.
Because whenever I stream, it's just game, sometimes the camera. And oftentimes the mic doesn't work. So.
Yeah, I know I do the golf,
Yeah.
but me watching people play video games has never been a thing for me. So when I became friends with you, or you opened
Yeah,
up
well,
the whole
it's more
speedrun
about
world.
it's
and
more about
everything.
the personalities, right?
True.
Yeah.
That's why I like podcasts, because I just listen to them, you know.
Now, if one of your podcasters decides to like stream video games and talk about topics.
Probably not, actually. No, it's just so and I don't even like lots of my podcasts.
Oftentimes, like I become, if I'm a fan of someone on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually not watching their stream. Like if it's a speedrunner, I'll tune in here or there.
Mhm.
But oftentimes I'm kind of just listening, or maybe I glance here or there, and then I use it to, if I like want to see a new game, just like some random gameplay of it. I'll usually go to Twitch and just kind of cruise around.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's a nice service. I mean, there's a lot of shitty things on there, but there's also some fun times.
Taylor, where you fall into watching the gamers?
Watching gamers. I mean,
Why do you gotta make that
usually
weird? Why?
make it weird.
Watching the gamers.
Usually when I'm like on Xbox Live and I'm scrolling through the free games that I could get.
It's always some fucking Microsoft ad with you, isn't it, Taylor?
Yeah, it's always
And browsing through all these free games.
If you scroll down underneath the purchase option, you can actually see they have broadcasts, and I'll see there's people's broadcasts.
If they're free
broadcasting
games,
the
why is
game.
there a purchase button?
It's like purchase, and it'll say like 100% free. So
Not
it's still good.
absolutely free.
So when I scroll down, it will show like 10 different broadcasts from random people, and so I'll just sit there and watch 5 seconds of each broadcast and see what everyone's doing in the game. And if it looks good, then I'll get the free game because it's free. But if not, I won't waste my hard drives.
Make sure you watch those feet breaks. Those are pretty close. They're fine there, but don't move or click it on too much.
The smell can be permeated into the mic.
And the viewers will hear it and smell it.
They will hear
Come
your
through their
smell.
headphones. Oh,
They'll
why
also see it.
do my headphones smell like Briggs' feet? 40, you know.
And that's why
No, there's at least one viewer who will appreciate that.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 206th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the pancreas-eating Travis Snell. Did you ever watch the Venom trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I said hot diggity or whatever this morning.
Duh.
No wonder
Travis,
I'm
you didn't see him say hot diggity?
How could I forget?
One of the most memorable sentences of all time.
Hot diggity.
Hot diggity. I am the Adam Hart caster, Dylan Muzz.
I am the orphan Tyler Briggs.
We are Taylor Field.
Okay, yeah.
Not bad.
So it's appropriate.
Plenty of better ones. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is an, I guess, kind of impromptu cast. We're earlier doing a newscast. I'll get some plugs out of the way. This week, me and Taylor are going to be reviewing Christopher Robin. I'm uber stoked for that. It's one of the most anticipated movies. I love Winnie the Pooh, so
Yikes.
we'll get a huge, big spoilers review, of that one.
Hour and a half long.
He said he thinks our Christopher Robin review is gonna be an hour and a half. Like me and Tyler,
I'd like
talked
to
an
see you
hour.
try.
We only talked an hour about Mission Impossible, hour and a half about Christopher Robin.
I'm giving it a hard 40 minutes or less.
I said 45. I said because I know I would have said 30, but there'll be 15 minutes of banter and Taylor saying hot
Intros and Taylor
off some sort of random, And then when it's next week, we'll have 2 reviews coming out. We'll have a Slender Man review. That'll be myself and maybe some other people. There are some people that are on the fence if they're joining or not.
Possibly.
But either way, there'll be a solo review or a review.
I saw the trailer today. Pretty bad.
It looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bad. And then me. Oh yeah, we should have watched it.
forgot
Come on,
about that.
yeah, we didn't. We're reviewing the movie. it next week, but we're not even talking about the trailer.
I kind of forgot it existed.
Oh, yeah.
until
I saw
2
it.
days
someone
I think the
posted
company did
trailer,
too.
and I just didn't think it was a real trailer or something.
They literally put a trailer out a week before the movie's coming. They literally went on a trailer like, "Oh right, we have Slender Man coming out. Get it out there." So,
Man, I kind of watch that now.
well,
But I'll watch it after the
it's
cast.
too late. And then me and Taylor, you got double doses,
live.
double feature. Me and Taylor
Double doses.
are gonna be doing the Meg. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that movie, but I'm seeing
Jason Statham, he's
He's what?
great.
Again?
Yeah.
Audio listeners.
They don't know
That's
you
our
just did the
primary
Praise
audience,
Jesus
Taylor.
headline.
He honestly, I just feel like that movie just looks so good. He's the comedic relief, he's the badassery, and he's everything in between.
The badass Uri.
Oh boy, ladies and
I think you're
gentlemen.
gonna be pleasantly surprised, Travis. I think you're gonna end up.
No,
enjoying it.
I don't think so.
I think you will.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think what else is coming up. Check out Work Hard Wolfhard. That came out during Comic Con. That was a big mess of content there, so a good mess. But go check out everything there. And a bunch of stuff there. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, Blade Trinity. The cap off to the finale. The cap off the finale to the
cap
trilogy. The dropped on Monday, so you can check that out. You can go watch Blade 1, 2, and 3 and find out what we thought about them. Find out why they're Dilmas's new favorite movie. So.
Favorite.
We've completed the Blade trilogy, so maybe if you watch Work Hard Wolfhard, you know what Marvel Netflix or Marvel Retro will be next. Taylor, did you want to shout out the retro show that will be coming exclusively to Patreon? I'll say in August for a little while, and probably won't be debuting till December for podcast listeners. So
Yeah, you know, if you asked me 3 years ago if we were gonna be doing a retro for this,
why 3 years?
Because I mean, that was been before the
When we
podcast.
I was
started,
trying
yeah.
to test them. I wasn't
Okay,
sure. I was sure it was that or
No,
some
you
other.
weren't.
I
did some reporting.
But yeah, like legit, we're gonna be doing a Star Wars Clone Wars retrospective. I am so excited for this in celebration.
Don't
of
include
it.
me in that, Taylor. I'm not doing this.
You could if you wanted.
I did start right, Taylor and I.
But yeah, it's gonna be fantastic celebration, or it's gonna be in celebration of the fact that they're bringing back the 7th and final season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars to the Disney streaming app, and yeah, this is gonna be a great time. We got a lot of content to get through.
Yeah, we're doing it because, you know, we got Cantina Conversations. We'll still support that show and probably do some ranking episodes here and there, but yeah, we're going to do that. That's our next TV retro. Spider-Man retro will be coming back in December. We're working hard on it.
It's difficult.
But yeah, Clone Wars, check out, because yeah, Taylor's a big lover. I've tried twice to
Love
watch
it.
that show, and I've gone about 5-6 episodes in, and I've been like, not for me. So I've heard from everyone that it gets better, but it could also be a slog for me. So we're going to do that, and then also because I get to pick the next TV retro, so, you know.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
But that should be fun. So literally, we that's like a year's worth of content. So we're embarking our venture. Go to Patreon. Some episodes will be at $1 level. You get them early there. $5 you get everything. Stay tuned because Patreon got a Patreon question today. Do we have anything else we need to shout out? Lots of plugs.
Oh, I might as well shout it out. I'm now streaming semi-regularly on the GeekVerse Twitch account, so make sure you check us out there. Ideally, right now, I'm just doing every Monday, just kind of taking it slow. I don't have any set schedule for it yet because I'm going to be in and out of British Columbia a fair bit this next couple months, but ideally at least once a week, and then once I'm more settled in, ideally maybe 3 or 4 times a week.
Ooh.
So right now,
That's
Mondays,
a lot of Briggs action.
check out Twitch somewhere between, let's say, 12 o'clock and 8 o'clock. 12 to 8. It won't be that
Pacific
full-
Standard
PM
Time.
too.
Yeah, PM.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So sometime in there, I'll be streaming for a couple hours. Usually just play, right now I'm playing PUBG and then some random single player games. Maybe we'll have some other geeks in there to hang out and chat with. So check us out Monday on Twitch.
Wow.
GeekVerse is the stream. So yeah, that's also a thing.
And
That
so
was
you
going
don't
on.
so you don't sit there from 12 to 8 wondering when's Briggs gonna go on live. That's why you follow Twitter, you follow
Yeah.
Facebook, and we'll post right away when episodes come up and when he's streaming stuff like that. So that's why you go to our social media because, you know, we give you the goods.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So legit, I want to shout out whoever you are. I don't know your name, but whoever recognized Ruben's voice at his place of work,
Oh.
you know,
That's
he,
fine.
did you hear about this, Dylan?
Uh-huh.
This is like amazing. So you're a fan of Geek Street.
Diggity.
He didn't sound like he was a fan.
Ruben,
Man,
I don't want to be
I
like
think
me.
Ruben undersold it a little bit.
Okay.
That's what I'm telling myself.
Right.
But you're out there, whoever you are, you're local, you've heard of us, you recognize
You're
our
local,
voices.
you hear us.
So, you know, that's awesome. It goes to show, like, people in the community, thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, no, and that comes out to things since Comic-Con. We've had a lot of interactions with fans and whatnot. I had maybe a little disgruntled guy who listened to Hunka Hunka. You know,
That happens
the TV
all
guy.
the time.
Yeah.
I just hope that they're just really understand what it is and they're like kind of going along with it or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and you know,
it's hard to say.
we have no control over that show. You know, it's just kind of there. So it's
It's
you
off
know,
the rails.
as far as I know, they don't have fake sponsors. They're getting paid for that. So
He's
you
trying
know.
to pitch you a sitcom. Or
No,
Hunka Hunka
I
guys.
feel like he was trying to get a nice scoop because he saw the headline Marvel was scared, but then he listened in and maybe thought the Hunka Hunka team is maybe a little illogical at times. So you know.
I don't know why. Anyway.
What you gonna do? And shout out to DJ Caruso who gave us a 1-star review on Podbay and just said,
Yes.
"Why is this show still going on?" So that makes
That's
a
a big
question.
question.
One, yes, that makes a question. If you disliked it that much, why did you keep watching? So that means at some point he watched it and then came back and said, "GeekVerse is still happening." Oh my goodness! And then another shout out. Oh, on our John, not our John. What is that John Travolta movie? Oh, I Am Wrath. There was somebody who went off on us like, these kids don't know how to review TV, they don't, or movies, they don't know anything. Like, what are they even talking about? And I just said, like, if you don't like it, why did you watch the review? And I got no response. So
Yeah,
I don't
there you
know.
go.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't like something,
Internet's a wild place.
yeah, if you don't like something,
Uncontested.
get rid of it, because that's what Disney likes to do. You
Yeah.
know, Disney, if they don't like something,
Just leave us a 1-star and get out. That's all we ask.
and also, Kirkland was supposed to be here, but he tweeted some. He tweeted some stuff, and I had a conversation with him, and we just can't do that for this week. Maybe we'll be back next
No,
week.
he's fired.
He-
Just Disney style, just fired.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
gone.
Maybe we'll reinstate him, but that could be a couple of years from now. Next, the 6th year. But yeah, he tweeted some stuff, and I don't know. Graham was really offended by it. So.
Well,
You know who else tweeted some stuff was James Gunn. We're getting into some movie TV news, then we're getting into our gaming news, which I don't know how much we have, but that's where we're answering our Patreon questions, so we'll get into that. That'll be fun and juicy. I don't know why I use juicy, but you know, Juicy Tuesday, so that's good.
Juicy too.
So let's pick up last time us four were podcasting. We had this discussion about James Gunn. Now,
G.
so since then that happened, and then there was some developments of the cast put out a few tweets here and there. Dave Bautista was quite vocal about it, and then we didn't cover it again after. There was a petition. Petitions don't fucking matter, ladies and gentlemen, but it's past 300,000 of fans. Good for you, but it's not going to do anything. But then the cast put together a long statement. Oof, Dylan, Muss, you want to read this long statement?
I don't think we need to read the whole thing.
I could read.
It's not that interesting. It's
Fair.
really just like, hey, you know, this guy, he's actually a good guy and he's changed.
What?
I could totally plow through that.
Let's give Taylor the chance.
I
like to give the
I'll throw it
context.
for a paragraph.
I still want to give the context.
If you
for-
want to switch out after a paragraph, let me know.
We could each take a
I can
paragraph.
also
It's 4
read that.
paragraphs.
I'll take the first.
We can be like the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, and you should take turns
Mm.
voicing our.
So this is the statement they all put out and they've all signed. Just so we
Okay.
have the floor to talk about what's happening.
To our fans and friends, we fully support James Gunn. We were all shocked by his abrupt firing last week and have intentionally waited these 10 days to respond in order to think, pray, listen, and discuss. In that time, we've been encouraged by the outpouring of support from fans and members of the media who wish to see James reinstated as director of Volume 3, as well as discouraged by those so easily duped into believing the many outlandish conspiracy theories surrounding him. Believing in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies has been a great honor in each of our lives. We cannot let this moment pass without expressing our love, support, and gratitude for James.
Ooh.
We are not here to defend his jokes of many years ago, but rather to share our experience having spent many years together on set making Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. The character he has shown in the wake of his firing is consistent with the man he was every day on set, and his apology, now and from years ago when first addressing these remarks, we believe is from the heart, a heart we all know, trust, and love. In casting each of us to help him tell the story of misfits who will find redemption, who changed our lives forever. We believe the theme of redemption has never been more relevant than now. Each of us looks forward to working with our friend James again in the future. His story isn't over, not by a long shot. There is little due process in the court of public opinion. James is likely not the last good person to be put on trial. Given the growing political divide in this country, it's safe to say instances like this will continue, although we hope Americans from across the political spectrum can ease up on the character assassinations and stop weaponizing mob mentality. It is.
Sounds like a question.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was no question in the actual speech, so you know. Taylor just not on Twitter, so
Also, there's no like audible.
There is.
bumps.
Between every word, it's.
Taylor's adding his own flair.
It is our hope that what has transpired can serve as an example for all of us to realize the enormous responsibility we have to ourselves and to each other regarding the use of our written words when we etch them into the digital stone. That we as a society may learn from this experience, and in the future we will think twice before we decide what we want to express, and in so learning perhaps can harness this capability to help and heal instead of hurting each other. Thank you for taking the time to read our words. The Guardians of the Galaxy, signed Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper,
I said the
Sean
entire
Benson.
cast. You're good to go.
Who, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can't read her name. That's why.
Palm Gillenau?
Gillenau, yeah, she's Russian now.
I'm not gonna try.
I have two critiques
Clementisi.
Of their thing or
of Taylor.
One,
The
yeah.
tone was very cheerful compared to the
Subject
message
matter.
itself.
Yeah, probably.
I always read it as a more somber.
Yeah, that's very true.
Fair. And then you sped up a lot as it went through. You
got
really
excited.
more intense and it. Yeah.
I got traction. I just took off with it, you know.
Momentum.
But I appreciate the feedback.
So
Yeah.
obviously all week, this came out yesterday, but then the whole week since all these comments, blah blah blah, have been coming out. The question has been, should Disney, and I guess will they reinstate or rehire James Gunn? And I guess I'll throw you because you just read that. What do you think about this? What are the chances of them bringing him back? Because cast is behind him, they have fans behind him, and I think that seems right because I don't think it's a black and white issue, so I can see where anyone falls. It's not, he didn't commit a crime or anything, so I can see if you fall on the positive or the negative. So. Do you want to go first? I'm trying to throw it to Briggs.
I was gonna say there were no boats involved
I'm
or
open coach.
anything. So, but I think that
No,
he's
there's
like
no
the Bucky
boats.
Barnes of like Marvel. I feel like the MCU. I feel like no, that's just it. He hasn't committed any crimes. I think that him as an individual. I think Disney, if you're willing to put out these movies with these ideas behind them and such, and preach and promote these ideals, I think that you should do justice for yourself and the people by standing by what your content you're putting out there. And I feel like they're not doing that in this sense. There was one thing that happened so long ago. Yes, the tweets were freaking horrible. They were bad. But obviously this stuff has been rectified, the situation, and like things have been dealt with and sorted out, and this is something that was just for some reason brought up back from the past, and I feel like Disney needs to practice what they preach in this sense and actually just kind of believe in what they're trying to express in their films and give him a chance and not just flat out fire him, but work out some better agreement or some arrangement,
I think you bring up a good point, but the problem is I don't know what Disney necessarily preaches, because they can preach,
I'm not talking about old school like Disney cartoons.
No, I know that. Heavily
Like
racist
Disney as a
stuff.
brand.
I'm talking just Disney from last year where they could preach family values, but then they also like work with Johnny Depp, who's potentially actually committed crimes, and things like that, and that's where I don't know where Disney's very muddled as far as, if this was Chris Pratt, I don't think Chris Pratt would ever got fired if these tweets came up, because you can replace James Gunn and my mom's not going to know, the director went away, but if Chris Pratt's gone, where's Chris Pratt go? Well, these tweets, blah, 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 and that's why Johnny Depp still has a job, because he's Johnny Depp and he's a big star. And...
Yeah, you make a good point. It's just unfortunate because I think that just outright fire him over something that happened so long ago, I feel like they could have, I still stand by the fact they could have worked something out, and maybe they could have figured out, like, okay, let's set up a plan, we're a little disappointed in what you did. And maybe to say Disney is, obviously, like you pointed out, it's not the way to go about it, it's Disney being responsible for it, but maybe, like, I don't know, Feige or whoever.
Feige's been radio silent on this. He hasn't said a word, so...
I think that...
Smart. He doesn't do anything as hastily as Disney fired James Gunn. He thinks about everything for about 17 years.
I'll say something in a decade.
Like, if he's going out to dinner like 2 weeks from now, he already has like his meal planned out. He knows what he's gonna get as an entree, what he's getting for dessert.
I gotta marry Kevin Feige.
He knows what he's gonna wear. He knows who he's taking.
it's just a little disappointing that they, like, the Marvel segment of Disney, just they put out all these good messages and these good intentions, And even, you know, you have someone who like is a huge hit, Chris Evans, Captain America, who believes so much in saving his friend. He turns against the government and goes into hiding. And then, you know, James Gunn doesn't have that kind of friend right now.
What?
Obviously, it's the
He has
Guardians
the
of the Galaxy cast.
He does, and also different. Bucky Barnes was, what was he again? He was
Mind control.
Yeah, he was. There's a different.
He had no
word.
choice in what he was
He had no
doing.
choice, but James Gunn, he did tweet those things as like a man, right? That's the thing. Yeah, no one held a gun up to him. Where Hydra was kind of messing around with, you know, James Buchanan. James Buchanan Barnes. And I'll ask you this too, because I feel like last week, I don't think you ever maybe said, because I listened, because I wanted to hear what I said. I listened to the cast we were talking about, so I don't think you specifically said he should have been fired, but you did sound more on the side of like, hey, this is pretty bad stuff, and you can see why Disney got rid of him. So
I could see, but then, you know, I would have wanted to. Let's say I was owner of Disney, you know, and like these tweets get dropped.
Wow.
how did that happen?
Either my secretary or Feige walks up to my desk and slams his tweets down on my desk in all the paper form.
That's not how tweets work.
He's like, this is what's just happened with James Gunn, and I'll be like, okay, I'll read through them. Like, this is not good, Feige. You go be quiet, and then I'm gonna deal with this. And then, you know, I would probably want to sit down and just talk with him. I feel like Disney or Marvel, whatever their higher ups, they should have done that. They should have discussed and talked, and they should have figured out something and not let it get blown up as big as it did. Because I'm wondering, do we even know why or where this came from?
Well, it was because James Gunn is a very political person on Twitter. He's against Trump, so he was in a conversation with a guy about kind of just laws or just political stuff, right? And the guy legitimately did tweet out and say, hey, I'm gonna find some stuff to take James Gunn down, and he went back and found some stuff. So it was like a mob hit sort of way. It was political. And this guy's, I can't remember his name, he doesn't deserve it. He's a piece of shit too. Like, he's like legitimately being on record saying he supports rape and stuff like that. So he's a shady guy. But like, it was a kind of that's where the mob mentality came from. That they did it not because it's hey, why is this guy directing movies? It's, hey, what can we find about James Gunn to take him down because he doesn't support our president, you know.
And that doesn't seem.
That guy was probably stoked when he scrolled far enough into James Gunn's timeline.
Well,
he's like, oh man, this is bad stuff.
Well, I think these were screenshot from years ago, and then they just found them in like the dark webs and whatnot.
The dark webs.
I imagine all our tweets and everything are probably just screenshotted somewhere. So it's like even if you delete them, you're kind of done. So don't tweet anything.
Don't
stupid.
tweet.
You know, someone's
delete those
saving
tweets, Kirkland.
Someone's saving up an archive of GeekVerse tweets.
100% Travis Smells is out there, and he has.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's a throwback. He got bored of us.
Wow.
He did, yeah.
I just feel like it's not even mention that this guy like threatened James Gunn and went deep into the underground to get this content. I don't know. I just feel like that's just such a horrible thing to do.
It
and I guess
is,
Disney shouldn't fire him.
Yeah.
Because some little dude who is living in who knows, God knows where, with his little computer and just looking up tweets and stuff.
Looking up tweets.
Doing shady stuff.
Well, that's the problem with this issue. It's not black and white because you can say, oh, you know, he went and found stuff, which it is. It's a shitty thing to be like, you shouldn't be fired on these tweets that someone purposely came out and just like, I'm going to get him fired. But at the same time, if James Gunn never tweeted these things out, there'd be nothing to find, right? So that's why it's not black and white, where it's like they didn't force James Gunn to tweet these things out. He still tweeted them, right? I'm not saying I'm, like, I guess, are you done? Because I'll take and I'll throw the juice.
I got one more thing I was going to say. I was just going to say, like, it just seems... Again, this is jumping on the bandwagon of everyone else kind of stating this, but like everyone has posted like stupid, ridiculous stuff. Like,
yeah,
I can't relate to James Gunn because I've never talked about that stuff like or posted or like any relation to that at all. Like, and if I did, those tweets were deleted. Not that I have Twitter, anyways.
Watch what you say.
Did delete his whole account? He was so worried.
It's true.
Twitter was just boring for me.
Oh, you're missing the mom mentality.
You
Yeah.
gotta follow the right people.
I don't think you want to be part of the
But that's the thing, so we were talking about being a black and white thing, so I listened back to what I said, and I said he should have been fired, and I guess when I listened to how I said it, I never said that like as far as me personally, because personally, I don't really care, because I wasn't offended by the tweets, and I want to see him complete his movies, but I'm not in the way of he needs to be rehired or he needs to be fired. I thought in more of the process he should be fired. If you're a longtime fan, I try to look at it usually from a business perspective first, and I just think about Disney and I think what they see, and it's like, yeah, it's a shitty situation, but I go, it's probably what they should have done. I still know what helps them more if they rehire him? Does that make everyone happy? But that also turns around if people don't like this. You know, if they were offended by these tweets, if you were, then it sucks for you. I'm not saying that in a shitty way. I'm just saying I just saw those, they're creepy and gross type of jokes, but like they didn't offend me. I didn't go, oh man, what?
I've seen like a lot of comments of people backing him up and saying like their own like takes on it, but I haven't seen a lot of people actually being negative about it or saying like he should have been fired or anything. Have you seen lots of stuff?
There's a lot at there was more at the beginning of people being, hey, like this is kind of weird stuff, like maybe he shouldn't be there. The director, I think there has been more of an uprise about because it's continually changing, right? Like you throw in this political stuff, you throw in this, you throw in the cast, so it's like this is going to be going for a while, and I don't know honestly now as a business if, like I was saying, if they rehire him, does that help in the long run? Does it not? If I have to guess, I'm still going to say no, just because I feel like Disney doesn't usually go back on the things they do, and I feel like it was so quick, and I can agree maybe it shouldn't have been as quick, but we don't know. They could have, James Gunn that could happen, and they could have got him at fucking 9 a.m. in the morning. I think they let him go in the afternoon. Yeah, I think they fired him like 2 or something, so they could have been in a boardroom that whole time talking to him for hours, and that's what they chose to do. And I don't know, because I can see, and that's because I'll throw that Tyler in a second, because I do think that he is a grown man and he tweeted those things, but the thing is he did apologize, and he hasn't kept doing those things, right? Because the reason I'm going to throw you, Briggs, is because you said you think even if it's been 8 years, you don't know if someone could change that much.
Yeah.
That's where I will still counter. I still think that can happen, and people can grow. And he did say, hey, in 2012, he said, hey, this was stupid, I'm not doing this. And he did stop doing that. And that's where I believe he could change. Yeah. And I think they could spin it enough that they could rehire him, but I'm still going to say they're not. And for me personally, I would like him to come back just because I want to finish up the trilogy. But I'm not like, it goes back and forth. Because the last thing I'll say before I throw it to Briggs is I also feel like I'm a super political person, super into American politics. I spent almost every summer of my childhood in America. I plan on living in America one day. So I'm big, blue, white, and red type of guy. I'm a big fan of America, and I saw myself as a Democrat. If I ever moved over there, I'd go with their lines and their morals. I know I'm getting political. This is 2 weeks in a row we've gone like serious GeekVerse. But after the Trump election, I said I'm not Democratic anymore because for me, people that was in the Democrat Party and like just civilians acted like a certain way. But then when Trump got elected, it was the same thing when they'd say, hey, Trump would make weight jokes or ugly jokes. That's all you see about Trump is left-wing people saying like, oh, look how fat he is, or talking about his hair. You can make those jokes, but the point was we're supposed to be better than the other side, and we're not. And that's where I feel like because he's on that side, I feel like if this was Zack Snyder would be getting shit kicked by everybody. And there was a few, you can check out Dynamic Duo, a few years ago, these comments surfaced of him talking about how Batman should be raped because that would make a darker movie. And me and Liam and Kyle, we talked about that, and we said, hey, I don't want this guy directing the movie. I never said, hey, he needs to be fired. I just thought, hey, he doesn't really fit our image. And people bring that up all the time, that, oh, he's a misogynistic guy, this and that. Where James Gunn, I feel like because on Twitter, lots of it's very left-wing and very Democrat because he's a Democrat and he's fighting against Trump. It's like, oh, he made a couple mistakes. I would like to see, and that's the thing that bugs me, was the other side, I don't know if he would get the same kind of second chances or the same, oh, we'll see how it goes because he's right now, I won't say it's in to be a Trump hater, but it kind of is, I'm not saying I wouldn't have voted for Trump. I'm saying because he's on that side, it's like, oh, well, he's one of the good guys. So yeah, Briggs, so I'll throw it to you because that's what talking about as far as if you could change or whatnot or anything like that.
Yeah. I think about what I said last week, I did say he should be fired, and like what I said, how people don't change that much. Obviously, that was with the lack of information I had. I have thought about it more, and with what the cast has spoken out about. I just want to say that like it's not like there's no possibility that he's changed.
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm very open to kind of seeing how things work. I do think I still am on your boat there in that I do think it was the right PR decision.
Yeah.
For Disney to fire him, just because the longer going off what you also mentioned was the longer it goes without them doing anything, then there are going to be more people on Twitter and whatnot saying bad things about him, and that hate's just going to start piling up until that happens. But because they just fired him right away, pretty much, there's no point in, sure, people love to beat a dead horse, but that only goes on for so long with these kind of mob mentality movements, because as soon as he got fired, that's kind of what they wanted.
Yeah.
And then they move on from it. There's like, oh, we won, we're done, and they move on, which is why because if he wasn't fired right away, rather than hearing all this support
Keep
and
going,
whatnot,
keep
then
going,
the news would be, oh, there's like all these people saying all these shitty things about him, why he should be fired, why he shouldn't be part of Marvel anymore.
Well, did it backfire then with the cast kind of almost poking that fire?
I think
for Disney.
I think so.
backfired.
Honestly, I'm surprised Disney let that happen. Maybe they.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously very possible that they did this without really Disney fully being aware of what was going on.
Yeah.
And I think honestly,
Well,
that-
Disney isn't just one guy, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that work.
there's a whole lot going on. So I
It's not
think
just
that's
like-
honestly
It's not
like
just Bucky.
it's a very questionable move to do from a business standpoint, because I'm sure Disney's pretty like, whoa, like what's going on here? This like because
Yeah.
that affects their image. And I think the biggest thing for them with firing him was it was the best decision, and they can't afford to be wishy-washy about this decision.
Yeah.
They have to pick a side one way or the other. Otherwise, either way, you're gonna get hate. And the one thing, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see, especially with how much support he's been getting. And I would say this is the better eventuality than them not firing him and getting all the hate.
Yeah.
So at the very least, it's sure Disney might have made the wrong decision, but at least now the news is good news. It's positive stuff, trying to bring him back rather than trying to bring him down. So there is that sort of issue. I think what I can see Disney doing, because this could be a big thing depending on how it goes, how the reaction follows up, how fans follow up, how Disney follows up on the statement, because there's no way they can't follow up on that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they might take some
Is
time,
there
but I
a
feel
chance
like
that they just
I
stay
feel like-
silent and they're just like let the cast out?
I
their
feel like it
moments?
has to be addressed in some way.
Yeah.
I'll be like, honestly, as a business, how Disney and Marvel reacts to this, I think if they don't say anything, it gives me at least the image of a disconnect between the cast and Disney as a company and whatnot, and it's kind of like, okay, so what's going on? How close are they? And do they have the same ideas of how things should be going? And then at that point, it's like, how does this work as a business?
And how does it work
So-
when they gotta start filming Guardians 3?
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
set
I
just
think-
super awkward.
Yeah, exactly, and that could very well affect the movie and how things go forward with that sort of series. And Guardians of the Galaxy in space is sort of the future of Marvel right now, going into the next phase and whatnot after Infinity War. At least that's
Possibly
how I see it. So I think this does need to be addressed eventually. I'm sure they'll be quiet about it for a bit, let things calm down. And I think what I could see them doing is eventually, once things have calmed down a little bit, maybe it starts to be old news in like a month or two, they put out a sort of vague statement about James Gunn in relation to Disney and whatnot. And they don't really confirm whether they're going to bring him back, whether he's going to stay fired or not, but they just say something about him. And then they see how the public reacts to that. And then depending on how that goes, I could very well see them bringing him back as in sort of like a lower kind of titled role. So
Just
it's not
as
like
a
some
writer,
big
possibly.
thing as like, oh, he's back in director, right?
Yeah.
He's back directing the movie. They don't make a huge deal about it.
Yeah.
But they bring him back as a writer, as some sort of advisor, in a very nonchalant kind of low-key kind of way. It'll obviously get news and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not going to be like, oh, he's reinstated as director. Maybe he's just on in some smaller role.
Okay.
And then obviously behind the scenes, like he could very well still have
Still
a big,
just be directing
he'd still
the
just be
movie.
directing the movie, but going through the proper channels and whatnot just to keep the PR in the best possible situation. And then that way the cast is happy, he's still working on the movie, they'll probably still go with what he had written for it, and they don't have to feel bad about crediting him and whatnot. And then that way, and then they obviously don't have the huge backlash of, oh, why'd you hire him back again? And I think hiring him back is going to be a big issue for Disney though, because of how the way they do it, because it gives the image of them being wishy-washy. And Disney in the past has just been they make a decision and they stick with it.
Yeah.
And that's worked for them so far. But so this will be one of those things where if they stick with it and they still make Guardians 3, how's that going to play out?
Well, yeah, because cast is saying they want him back, and then you know, I don't know how contracts work. Because to me, none of them still say, hey, we're not going to do this.
Yeah,
movie
I think
that
they're
way.
still going to do the movie, but I do think there'll be maybe not a drop in quality necessarily, but a change
Yeah.
in quality and how the whole set's going to mesh together. So I think this is one of the few moments where Disney could go back on what they did, but it's going to be, because Guardians 3 is not for a long time, right?
It was supposed to come out in 2020, and they were supposed to be filming in the next few months.
So I could see them waiting a couple months, see how things play out, take it slow, and not rush into it, and then kind of slowly maybe bring him back, or they end up deciding not to have him. But I think it would. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him back at all. Maybe 6-7 months from now, and just kind of.
Yeah, they gotta get the time. If they do want to bring it back, they gotta get the timing right before Captain Marvel and Infinity War comes out, or Avengers 4, because they don't want that press over that movie. So, Must, you got the golden answers for Disney and Feige? And
Well, of course not, but I can try my best. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they would do something like wait a few months and then like bring him back at like reinstating. I kind of feel like it's something they'd want to deal with now. Although what you said earlier, I think is the most likely in that just stay silent for now. They don't say anything about it. Then in like a month, they release some super vague statement that's kind of boring,
sort of
and then.
What if it's just a picture of they just put a picture of James Gunn, just a picture of his head, and that's it. They don't
His head.
not like a severed head. Just
Not
like,
even like it's all just like part of his head.
yeah, and you figure it out.
What is this?
What they should do is like take that scene from the Wreck-It Ralph trailer with like all those little like that little Twitter section, and then just replace all those little cat tweets with like all of his tweets, and then just like have that as their statement.
Oh my god!
And then just don't say no. That's too. Anyway.
Don't get people like someone's gonna do that now. Someone's gonna make that.
I want to see it. I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
That'd be pretty funny. You know,
I do
respect
think-
the effort put into it.
I do think Disney could do something where they just have some vague statement in a month, saying like, oh, like we don't want this associated with like our brand, this, that, the other thing, and then people are gonna talk about it, but eventually people are gonna forget. People are gonna eventually move on. I think the tricky thing is what they do in terms of who they get to replace him, and maybe the best thing to do is just get some really big popular director, bring in like a JJ, and people will be like so stoked about that they're not going to be talking about James Gunn anymore. Eventually they'll forget about it. I mean, my thoughts haven't really changed a whole lot since we had this other discussion. I still think he should, I don't think they should have fired him. I certainly don't think. I'm fine with them firing him. I understand why, but I still don't think they should have done it so hastily. That seems really strange to me, and that's where.
Well, you still thought you had your conspiracy, or there could be more going on, which other people have thrown out there as far as like there might be more to this.
I still think there is something in maybe I don't know. I don't follow him on Twitter, so I don't really see like these political things. Never did.
I don't think he's ever gonna tweet again. By the way, I don't. Yeah. Doctor Strange director deleted his Twitter.
A lot of people are deleting Twitter.
Yeah. So I thought about it.
Wait a second. Maybe I shouldn't say everything that comes to my mind and put it on the internet.
Yeah, but
that's what Twitter's for.
You get those retweets.
You're supposed to.
For the
That's
brand.
how social media works. We're in the information era.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
You're talking about the
conspiracy. I mean, I don't know. I think just with how fast they did fire him after that stuff came up, I do feel like maybe there was something else, or there is something that's going on. Maybe there is more to this political thing, because I've seen a couple people talk about that. I can't speak on that personally. I've just seen like his other tweets from whenever back when. But yeah, I don't know. I think for the artistry of it, I wanted to see him finish up the trilogy, and it seems like the cast, at least, I wonder how other people other than actual actors in the movie feel about him and if they'd want him back or not. But obviously, this is 8 or 9 people who all work with him and want him there, and obviously all these people deleting Twitter over it and talking about how he's a good guy and stuff like that. So I don't know. I've like what I said on the last discussion. I still think he should do the third one, but whatever. Disney's gonna do whatever. I don't think it really matters, honestly. If Disney brings him back or not, I still think people are gonna go see Guardians.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
It's still gonna be a massive movie for them. I don't know. Maybe it would drop some sales. Maybe it would make some more sales, depending on who they get as the other director. And obviously, when the movie comes out, this topic's gonna be brought up again. People are gonna be talking about, was it a good decision to get rid of him? This, that. But I think by that point, obviously, that would be for a while. People are mostly going to be over the issue, assuming they don't rehire him, and people might talk about it a little bit. I'm sure on our review we would talk about it quickly, but then people are going to move on as they do.
I think we'll talk about it a lot if the quality does dip, because because Guardians 3, that's a problem. I think it will go away, like this stigma, but if it does dip in quality, even a little bit, like I'm throwing out Rotten Tomatoes, like all those movies, both are, I think first one's 9, the first one's about 8. Let's say, I don't even think it's rotten, but let's say it's in that like 65, 70 range. Guardians 3 to me is always now going to be that movie of, man, what would happen if James Gunn directed, right? Like, this is why I always throw to you for your favorite Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises. I always go, there's a stigma, or there's a portion of our fans go, man, if Heath Ledger was still alive, what could have been? And we accept the Dark Knight Rises movie and we like it, but at the back of our minds we go, there's a better movie probably out there because there was this plan, right? And for me, it's the directing's fine. For me, it's the script that is like, he's a great director too, but for me, it's the script that's the biggest thing. If they have to throw that out, that's where it's tough because he has so many connections to these characters. And with I expected Batista and Pratt and all that to come out. People like, even though he just does the voice, like Bradley Cooper is actually what surprised me the most because he's bigger than all of them. He's directing a movie this year which is going to get nominated at the Asshole at the Academies. So he's like above this. He doesn't need to be signing this, but he still is. I don't know how much he's worked with James Gunn or whatnot. Maybe he just believes that, hey, he shouldn't have been fired. You should look at his Twitter, Sean Gunn, his brother. He did a really long, lengthy post, and that was really good, talking about how, you know, these tweets, this is not represent who he was, which that's one thing I'll have to throw out there. I never read these tweets and thought, oh, this guy is a pedophile. He made stupid jokes, but that is like what they said in their statement, like this twist that's been happening, like, oh yeah, he must be a pedophile. No, there's a big difference between actual crimes and tweets and whatnot, and that's the thing where I don't know, because the thing is, if they hire James Gunn back, they are going to talk about that in the press, but you'd never have that, well, what if James Gunn directed, right? So I guess they have to just decide what's more important to them, because you could go the reverse of, hey, they hire him back, people are pissed, but it's not that big of a deal in 2 years. To me, it's just like, oh, we're over it, and we say, hey, James, he's working really hard, we've talked to him, he's, said whatever. Like, that statement they put out was checked by probably 50 fucking people. Like, PR people, their lawyers, everybody, like, that's 8 people. That got, like, edited out the ass to make sure, like, everyone okay with this? Everything, like, so Disney's gonna be the same. Like, if they hire James Gunn back, it'll be a nice, beautiful, like, the most political, like, he's gonna be a good boy, he's never gonna do anything again, like, and I guess, yeah, I don't know, I'm very interested to see, because at some point they gotta get a director. And it's like this, if they want to stay on the timetable, which Disney usually does.
Oh, they know they're on that timetable.
Well, look at Solo, you know.
Feige is ripping out any hair he has left right now.
Oh God, Solo lost 2 of his directors in middle of production with 3 weeks to go, and they're still like, no, it's gonna hit that May release date. So we're gonna know, I think, in a month or two, whether it's him or somebody else. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do. So
interesting.
I think you made a very good point about how they.
Who's you?
Tyler.
Okay.
The listeners told me on that. I think that you made a good point in the fact that, you know, they fired him and they diffused the situation before people could kick it down a dead horse or whatever that phrase
Kick
is.
it dead horse. I kick down a dead. Fuck you, horse.
You're already down on the ground. I'm not kicking you more.
But I think I don't know. I feel like
those tweets.
I feel like Disney, you know, this whole time I've just been thinking to myself, what if Disney is just so sly? They've been playing it out this way, that they beat the people to the punch, so they fired him so that people wouldn't be attacking the situation anymore. It would calm down. Then they would approve of the cast putting this out, and then it would allow them to only build up positive traction and easily diffuse the situation and bring back James Gunn.
Some people have thrown out, though, there's some people, I don't know if it's speculation or
That's a risky move.
There are some people that did throw out that they fired James Gunn just knowing they would hire him back, but they're going to play out this whole scenario like a redemption story. And hey, they talk about redemption in that post, you know. So.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, that's how
I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with the manufacturing.
Yeah, but that's like, it's a hell of a PR.
That actually
that
all fits in with my conspiracy theory, because it's like they've already had the paperwork ready and filled out for the moment someone brings up those tweets again. Boom, okay. Alright, James, you knew this was coming, you're fired. Don't worry, man, it's all good. Don't post anything weird on Twitter right now. You need to be, like, now you're still with us, so don't post any other weird shit.
Fuck Disney!
We'll be back in a few months.
Yeah, so we'll see. There's word all around that there's been rumors from Riot saying, oh, they are considering it. There's been rumors like, oh, they're not. So we will know very soon when we cover it. It's I don't want to say exciting, but it's interesting to have like Marvel drama to talk about, because it's always been DC and they're back in the game with the, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what other?
You know what they need to do is just like drop like 5 trailers for a bunch of movies and get people talking about other shit?
No, just drop Avengers 4 tonight. Just
The movie.
It's out.
Just drop the movie.
Yeah, on Netflix. We sold it on Netflix.
On
Here you go.
Teletoon.
Teletoon.
Yikes. Airing on TV 24/7.
Wow, I don't have cable. I'm fucked. You know what? I'm not fucked about, or maybe I am. Is that Venom trailer? I had a good transition. You ruined it, but Venom.
That's your fault, not my fault.
No, I would say this
I
is
don't think it's anyone's fault.
probably their
That's
final
TV.
trailer. Maybe we'll get one more. Movie comes out in October. Maybe we'll get one more because we've had a teaser and then 2 trailers, so we might get another. I hope not, but we might. So, what do we think about this one? This one shows off quite a bit of. First teaser we saw nothing. Second teaser we saw a shot of Venom. This is showing a lot of Venom action, a lot of symbiote action. What do we think about that action and this trailer? And are you more or less excited for the movie now?
I don't know. I'm just really excited for this movie because it's just such a strange thing to me still within the the comic superhero. I can't speak right now. Comic movie landscape. It's just such a weird thing because it's. I mean, I guess DC's getting in on this, doing one-off movies now. But really, this one, obviously, and we've had them in the past, but this is kind of the most modern one that's kind of just its own standalone movie, and it's, directly, closely tied to another really popular character, but it's not, the rights aren't all there, so you can't use that character. This trailer makes me curious how much, acting Tom Hardy is going to be doing in this movie. Because he has very little scenes
He did all the vocab for Venom, though.
Yeah,
he acted like the Andy Serkis wise, right?
Okay, well, I mean actual Tom Hardy on screen and talking to people, not just action
Eddie
scenes
Brock
and stuff.
scenes, you mean?
Yeah, sure. Cause he at the end of this trailer he has a little joke. It's not really that funny, unfortunately, but that when I saw that, it made me realize how little of him there was in this trailer. Just talking with people. And, he has a few scenes where he looks in a car window and he freaks out because he sees the distorted reflection and stuff like that. But yeah, it has me really curious what his how that character is gonna be throughout this movie. The Venom costume and CGI I think looks amazing. I really like the look. I think the CG on that one scene where he's licking that guy's face, it looks super creepy and weird, but it obviously fits the character really well, and I think it fits the scenes, and I think it fits the mood, the atmosphere of this movie. You can already kind of jive from the trailer, and I mean it doesn't really look all that all that unique of an atmosphere. It's pretty much just nighttime in a
Dark
city.
New York.
Yeah, but hey, I mean that's where Venom, that's where his playground is, so it works out well.
Gotta save on that budget, they're trying to keep it low. So.
They are. Hard. I think this probably gets me. I'd say this makes me more excited for the movie. I really like the Venom character, and I like Tom Hardy a lot as well. So I already feel like there's a few things set up for a successful movie here, but it also could end up being really boring, I think. And this trailer maybe reinforces that to me. I didn't really find any other gripping characters from this trailer. There was this one guy that I couldn't even describe to you because he had a couple scenes in this trailer. He's presumably the villain role.
Oh yeah, Riz Ahmed. He's playing Riot.
Riot.
Yeah, he's the other symbiote, right?
Okay, yeah. So I don't really.
Is it Symbiote Riot or
Symbiote's Riot? Yeah.
The
Oh, the fans are back. We're back at
phone is
Dylan's
back.
house. This is great.
Hour?
I'm gonna throw 2 counter questions to Dylan before.
It's unplugged. Don't ring anymore.
Fans, we'll take your calls next week.
Also, if anyone on YouTube is wondering, if you're wondering from perspective where we used to record all the time, this is just up the stairs from where we used to record.
It's true.
Have we recorded something up here before?
Us eating the Batman Superman cereal.
If anyone has seen that video, somewhere deep in the
check. It's
GeekVerse
first few
archives.
months.
Someone saved some screenshots of that.
So I forgot my second counter, but my first counter was as far as when you're talking about Eddie, the thing I would counter with that is the teaser and the trailer was the reversal, or was it a lot of Tom Hardy, right? So I wonder if
haven't watched that one in a while, so I can't really remember.
The only shot of Venom we get at the end is the face flips and he's like, "We are Venom." So I think this trailer is just to show off the sexy Venom, and this is also taking out a few scenes with the Comic-Con trailer. Apparently everybody saw, and this makes sense to be a Comic-Con trailer to show them all that filthy symbiote slime. I love how slimy he looks.
So slimy, just covered in juice.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I had a really good point of
Something I said?
Yeah, like
atmosphere,
a
villain.
Oh, that's what. So, notorious hater of Tom Hardy's voice in Dark Knight Rises. How do you feel about both?
I would say I'm more a notorious hater of that movie as a whole.
Okay.
Tom Hardy's voice in it not fitting the character whatsoever as well.
So, how do you feel about Venom and Eddie?
You don't think his voice fits Bane?
No, I didn't think. Well, I don't think the voice he used. I think Tom Hardy has the ability, but I think the voice he chose to use was super fucking strange in the character.
Okay.
But I also, the rest of the movie was garbage anyway. So I mean, anyway. How do I feel about his voice as Venom?
Both, because they're both unique. He's doing some weird. Because
I think his Venom voice could be better.
Okay, his Eddie voice to me it's really throwing me off. It's some weird like whiny Brooklyn accent, and I got the reverse where people said with Bane they couldn't understand him. There's a few times with him as Eddie and Venom I had to listen a second time, and like at one point when he told about there being like a turd in the wind or something like that, I had to go back and listen to it because I didn't know what he was saying. I'm fine with the Venom voice, but I don't know. I don't know why he always has to do voices. You know, like he has a nice British accent. I don't know.
He's trying to find his place in the acting world.
All right.
Love Tom Hardy.
He's trying to find that Oscar.
Tom Hardy.
Oh, for Venom. We're making Venom an
Well,
Oscar.
no, not that he's going to get it for Venom, but as an actor, with every performance you do, every movie you do, you increase your skill set, you get better, you know, you learn how to work with other people better. You know,
Adam Sandler?
It's a skill like any other. Adam Sandler gave up. It's not to say he wasn't doing that for a time. But Tom Hardy, you know, you got to find that Oscar. Maybe you got to be Venom to find it.
Wow.
Not to get it, but to find it.
Okay.
Well, speaking of Tom Hardy,
Speaking of,
his Venom trailer.
That's what we're talking about.
He personally put out.
Funny story.
Wow.
That's why we're in the tank.
That he put out. He personally.
Honestly,
guys, I made this movie. Acting, directing,
It's on his
writing.
own
I play
YouTube
every
channel.
character.
His YouTube channel, Tom Hardy 22, put it out.
22.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, it is
We're waiting.
So I'm a bit on your as far as his voice goes in your voice. That he does sound kind of whiny, kind of immature, not like.
He says he isn't in puberty yet.
Yeah, it sounds like he's like some high school kid. So I guess is what how I put it. He sounds
What are
like.
we doing?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like the character should be a little bit more mature, almost serious in a way. It just doesn't fit for me being that kind of super villain.
I mean, he's not really that mature of a character, really. From other editions of Eddie I've seen.
I wouldn't say he could be mature, but I would say he's almost on the bully spectrum, and if a bully had that voice, I wouldn't be intimidated by
Think about who they cast as Eddie Brock in the last Spider-Man movies.
Okay, well...
Okay. I think the choice that they're like, hey, this guy's a good Eddie Brock. Don't you think that says something about what Eddie Brock is as a character?
I think, well, okay.
How about the guy from the animated series?
Riddles.
You know?
Well, that's what I'm based on what I saw. His voice is just more like, oh, Peter Parker, what have you... He's like the bully. I didn't like Topher Grace at all, his Venom or his Eddie Brock. So I hope they didn't look at that movie and we need something similar to that. I think it's just, I don't think this is a thing they wrote. I think this is 100% a Tom Hardy thing where every character, even
this is what we do.
yeah, like, even in Dunkirk, like he has his British accent, but it's like tweaked a little. Like he just always has to do something, and that's good because it makes it stand out. But I don't know if the something's working. Maybe in the film it could, but it's the trailers, the lines are picking.
Yeah, I think with the lines that we're only getting those kind of one-liners.
Yeah.
If you actually, once you actually hear him speaking in like sentences and paragraphs. And like full
proper punctuation.
I think you could get used to it, but for right now it's throwing me off. And if I don't get used to it and it still feels off throughout the whole movie, then I'm not gonna have a good time. That's gonna be a big tick in the ear.
A big tick in the ear.
So that I'm worried about that for sure. So the Riot is the same person as the evil scientist.
Yeah, they kind of spoiled that, but
I feel like that's a little, for me at least. I feel like that's a little cliche. I would have preferred to see
big time.
I would prefer to see like the scientist controlling someone as Riot or some. Or
I think this is going to be a very simple movie.
I know. A lot of cliches.
I think with the leaps and strides we've had with superhero movies, I've at least come to expect a little bit more than that. So, I mean, it could play with just fine, but it depends on how much I like that character and how his development goes. But
I think he's gonna be pretty basic bitch. He
Yeah.
has a line in the trailer like the only way to help the humans is like to kill them or something like that, or is it like
humans are expendable.
yeah.
This is the future of the human race.
Classic science to help humans. We gotta kill you.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, CGI at least I remember when we watched the first trailer, I was very worried about the tentacle arms sticking out of him. It looks better for now, so
and that's always gonna happen.
yeah. And the CGI of the Venom itself looks really cool. I don't know how I feel about the giant fight between Ride and Venom at the end. That
Like
could
with the
be a
big
big CGI mess. But
it looked like a cool shot, but it also looked like it needs some time to finish. And that could just be everywhere. But that could just be a moment where something explodes and they just like kind of get shell shocked. And
so it'll be interesting to see at least. But I don't have too high of hopes honestly for the movie. I think like it does feel like it's on a cheaper budget and. We'll see, I guess. I'm excited to see it, but I don't have too much as far as expectations go. I could very well see myself just not really enjoying this movie.
Yeah,
but,
it's a good word to have.
Yeah, no, it should be alright. I haven't been disappointed in Tom Hardy or Marvel really recently. So we'll see what happens, but I'm expecting it to be a much lower tier, I guess, than what we've come to expect.
Taylor Field, hot diggity.
Hot diggity. That, the first trailer when it dropped, it didn't get me overly excited or anything like that. But the second trailer, it definitely picked up traction. This trailer, I saw it at 6:30 this morning. Wow. Oh, it was fantastic.
Now, did you wake up for the trailer or were you already up for
The trailer was already up.
The trailer.
And then Travis posted it and he was all excited.
I knew
about it.
I knew about it.
So, his whole voice thing or whatever, it doesn't bother me. I kind of see it as like looking back at the other trailers and the way he talks, just like before he goes like pre-symbiote or pre-Venom.
So
he
Eddie?
just seemed Eddie. He just seems very the way he talks seemed very normal and very like nothing was wrong with it. I didn't feel like he had that really Tom Hardy kind of twist to it fully.
Okay.
It just seemed like normal conversation and dialect that he was using, and then. When he became after
I haven't heard in months at least.
In the trailers after when he becomes Venom and he starts like he's already had contact with the symbiote and such, then you see that kind of twist in his voice and everything, and it seems like it's just coming from this like insecure, compromised human being, and I think
infection.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
I think it fits 110% what he's trying to put out there with just like how he's just a nervous wreck, and he's completely compromised in every shape or form because of this foreign entity that's attached to him. And I feel like it makes total sense for him to be portraying his voice and how insecure and how like weird his voice sounds at times. So I don't mind it. I completely accepted that. I think the suit looks super cool. I mean, if I could get a suit like that.
Is it really a suit?
I don't know.
What's the definition of suit?
You wear it.
Then boom. I think he's wearing it.
But what if it's wearing you?
What if it's not wearing? But what if it's not even
always
him underneath? What if it's just like he's only Venom? I mean, it's just that all black symbiote.
But it's not because he does that thing where like moves his
but
face.
like he recreates his molecular structure.
A set of outer clothes made of some fabric or designed to be worn together, typically consisting of a jacket, trousers. So I'm gonna say no.
Okay, well, you have to read the second one.
Any of the sets distinguished by their pictorial symbols into which a deck of...
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out, like, how is this going to sing? Or just be convenient or acceptable. Fuck it.
I would not label it as a superhero suit.
Okay, let's just break the china cabinet, Travis.
I would, that's the thing. The trailer, it makes me feel, keep going, go.
Okay.
Okay.
Better be good.
I think that leading up to the whole scene with the end part where he makes that joke, it didn't like rub me the right way or whatever. Like it didn't tickle me.
Your itch.
Didn't tickle my itch.
Tom Hardy. Oh, you like that?
But that makes sense.
Oh, Taylor.
That's a tweet you don't want to find.
I'm wondering though, is Tom Hardy's kid supposed to be enjoying this movie?
Oh fuck! Why do you bring this up every time? It's one comedy.
I feel like it's just.
Remember, he said he wanted to make a movie his kid could watch.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I
Tom
just.
Hardy's kind of interesting kid.
I think
Probably.
his kids
He's a
would
cool
be very
kid.
interested about this movie.
I'd be Tom Hardy's kid.
Honestly,
Later,
I
parents.
would watch the Venom movie at the age of 6, so I can't say that like any kid's fucked up if they want to watch it that young. Like if I could have watched it, I would have. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that means it's rated R. I think he just means in the sense of his dad does a lot of boring ass movies. I don't think his son would have got much pleasure of watching Dunkirk. You know, like I'm getting the feeling.
What an
this is-
uncultured piece of shit.
I'm getting. Delete that tweet.
Oh no.
I'm getting the feeling this isn't rated R because lots of the violence they go away from, even, and I don't know from.
Maybe it's just for the trailer though.
It could be because that was the scene of him biting. Obviously, I think that guy's head off, and we heard about that from
Presumably.
Comic-Con, but I don't know. In Comic-Con, did they actually see his head get bitten off, or did people just tweet out, "Oh, he bit a guy's head off," but it was cut like that as well? I'm gonna just guess it's PG-13 just because we haven't got a Red Band trailer and they haven't said hard R, so I think it'll be a hard PG-13. As far as
soft R.
no, it can't be a soft R.
Soft
Well,
boiled
actually, there could be a soft R. If you had 2 F-bombs, that would be a soft R. So, I think it's gonna be PG-13 as hard as you can go, like Dark Knight. So,
Dark Knight.
Interesting.
The Riot symbiote, I think.
just
was-
Riot. He's not the Rock. He's not. There's
The
no the
Rock.
at the beginning.
Dwayne the Riot
He's like
symbiote.
gray
So
Venom.
it's.
He's like Silver Venom, yeah, and he has like different eye folds and yeah.
He has different eye folds.
Do different things like make
Not
sights
really.
and
No,
stuff?
not. They don't really
I get
do.
what Venom
No,
can
you
do
get
that.
breaks.
Like symbiote's just like I think Carnage is a bit more if he can make a cool. He has more versatility as far as weapons, but the symbiotes and what they do and what their powers are
They
get
do.
very muddled over the years.
There's a
There's
very
talks
strong.
and
They
there's
shift.
yeah. It's just kind of like I don't know. I'm trying to think of one telekinesis versus another telekinesis. They probably do different stuff like Jean Grey and Professor X, but at the end of the day, they're still just tellies, you know.
I mean, it's sometimes, you know, these people made these characters a long time ago,
60s.
and, you know, maybe they weren't the most creative, but here we are, they're still making movies about them, so we just accept it.
Awesome.
All right.
So
I accept
it's
that argument.
you say it's not the Riot.
Fine!
Here we
Oh!
Just say
are.
Riot!
You said Riot, so is it not actually Riot symbiote? It's just Riot. Or?
Is it Venom symbiote?
Do you know what a symbiote
Yeah, but I
is?
heard people saying the Riot symbiote.
Who are these people? Who?
Give me
Did
that
you
number.
actually hear these, or are you
I
just
feel like
saying
those
that?
are people who are not credible sources.
I don't think there's
they're-
any people. I think they're the people in his head.
Just give me
I
5
mean,
minutes
no,
for
I can
sorry.
see someone who's like uninformed.
I'll get you the people.
Call it the Riot symbiote.
Maybe, or they're trying to distinguish like that's not Venom, that's the
Or
Riot.
like the articles I was reading and stuff. It's like the
Yeah.
Riot symbiote.
Well, send me some. Maybe they're just trying to make so you don't
That's
get
like saying
confusing.
the thumb finger. You
Because
know?
yeah,
You can say that.
I think Riot is a good
You can,
film.
But
Riot
it's like who actually says it though?
Riot is a good villain to start off with. He doesn't have that much like legacy to him. My problem is just that he looks exactly like Venom. Like remember, I think I put in the group chat last week. I think Kirkland or you asked, and they go, Riot's a villain. I think.
That was me. I called him
Yeah.
like, what's the exploding symbiote? Or
Oh yeah, and it's just like I looked through all the pictures on Google, be like, oh, I'll try and send them one so they don't go, isn't that just Venom? But he just looks like a bit more bonier version of Venom. Like I wish they picked.
The classic 2003 Hulk move. Was it 2003 the Hulk?
What?
movies?
With what though? Where are you going with
The
this?
Hulk.
Who are
I'm
you
saying
talking
because
about?
like
There was a Hulk movie in 2003.
yeah, the Green Hulk and then his bad guy.
The Green Hulk.
Who?
No.
You
You're
like
wrong.
No, the bad guy
Hulk?
though.
You're wrong.
The Abomination. It's like Hulk, but he's
No,
bony.
you're wrong on this one.
No,
So
no.
the 2003 Hulk was just the Hulk, and then Incredible Hulk was 2008.
Okay.
That's where he fought
2008 is
Abomination.
the one that yeah.
Abomination.
Yeah.
I was wrong with the year, but
Dylan's
the
favorite.
Abomination,
Abomination
like he's
is
Hulk,
fair.
but he's bonier. It's a
And you're
classic
wrong
move.
about the film too. The Hulk is a whole different thing.
You know what?
The
That's
villain
not
in that
the-
movie is a cloud.
That's not the important part, Travis. The important part is that a classic move to have the bad guy be slightly bonier than
True.
the
But
good guy.
The
Shows
difference
them
is,
knows well fed.
big difference though is
or too often.
big like green and then like yellow piss. Where this is almost you could just be like a different tint of black, and that's why I don't like that they went.
I'm
black.
also.
One
What if it's
thing's
like
black.
a dark alleyway and you can't really tell the
No.
difference between like a dark gray and like a.
Even in that
You would
image
hope
of-
the director would realize this. Like, maybe we don't
I
film in
mean,
this
there would
alleyway.
be some wild movies out there.
But even in that last shot of them, like the symbiotes exploding off them and they're in the middle, they look pretty similar. And I get why they didn't go with Carnage. I don't want them to set that up for the next film, but maybe not Riot. You know, I
What
don't
do
know.
they get in next film?
Oh, Who knows? I couldn't tell you. That's a
Tim Hardy's tweeting like starting filming for Venom 2.
They have a post-credit scene filmed for it, so
Sick.
because Woody Harrelson's playing Carnage, and that's
Woody
in
Harrelson.
November.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so-
I forgot about that.
So
Do you guys think there's a Stan Lee cameo in this movie?
no.
Hell yeah.
Nice. They were so certain no, and you dropped that quick hell yeah.
I just don't think he fits, and I think that he's not in the Marvel Netflix stuff. That could be scheduling, but to play practical as well. He's had a lot of health issues lately, so I think other than the MCU.
And I mean,
he's
this
in
is
the
all
West.
filmed at night. He's probably sleeping at like 5 p.m.
Or he's just waking up. No,
I mean, he probably did a lot of drugs back in the day. He's probably
According
waking up.
to Ant-Man, he did. Remember that's what they said.
Ant-Man.
60s was a wild
Quite
time.
literally.
60s was a wild time.
So you got anything else to add?
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue off the fact that I think Riot looks badass. I am very excited to actually see him.
How far do we?
I thought he looked completely different from Venom. I thought,
Completely?
yeah.
Fuck off.
Do you know the definition of completely? Try to bring it up.
Well, in the trailer,
No, you'll trick me
in the
again.
trailer,
He doesn't know there's also a card game called.
in the trailer, he just looked completely like white, silver, gray. Like he didn't look anything like Venom. Did.
That's
Like I just felt like, and from what they showed, he just whipped out his like dual
Whip it.
blades or whatever on his wrists. I'm
Watch
like,
those tweets.
Wrist
just-
blades. That's
Oh,
why
that's
like
yeah, you figured it out.
It's wrist blades.
Oh, he's so different. He has wrist blades. That was my wrong.
blades.
Riot's my favorite character. Riot, Golden Geeks 2019, best film of the year. No
Oh.
Thanos, no Killmonger.
I just think he just looks super badass, and I'm super excited to see. I like seeing that kind of climactic fight sequences between like similar forces. So with like what you said with like Hulk and Abomination, I really enjoyed that kind
So
of thing.
every
It's like,
MCU movie.
no, the hero
No,
that's
it is though.
no, the hero
No.
facing something that's genetically a part of himself, almost you
Ooh.
could say.
Yeah, but here's the
Okay,
thing.
that's
though,
not how you
know?
said. You said something similar.
Civil War, you know, Captain America versus Iron Man, they're not really that similar.
I'm talking about
One
heroes
guy's
and
a robot
villains.
and the other
Iron
guy
Man, Iron
He has
Man.
a shield.
The end of Iron Man, both Iron Mans just fights another guy in a suit. They try with Mandarin in it.
You're right. Okay.
Okay, but what's the difference
I'll
between
concede
suits?
that.
Captain America fights a
That's why
Nazi.
I
The
like
Hulk
Iron
just
Man
fights
2 so
another
much.
Hulk. Black Panther just fights Golden
Another Black
Jaguar.
Panther, oh my goodness.
They just Ant-Man fights Yellow Jacket. MCU is just
Yeah,
filled
but
with
does
it.
Ant-Man, when he fights what's her face in Ant-Man 2?
No, they're changing it up. That's what I'm saying. But like when he's
Fuck you. You are not building to that at all.
You can't just pick every side of an
no,
argument.
that's what I'm saying.
That was the Disney thing where you had that answer prepared for like the moment. As
Yes.
soon as those tweets came out,
Hey.
you're like, oh no, this is what I was building for.
You guys know how much I plan. At some point, Feige needs to be replaced. I'm a good candidate to get up in there. No, I was saying because he's making it sound so rare. Just like when some films, no, lots of Marvel films are doing it quite a bit. You know, that's why Batman fights a fucking clown because there's no similarities there. It's nice.
Yeah,
and
they're
unique.
both insane.
Oh,
Fair enough. No, you can't say you're wrong.
You know, they both have a dark
They both
past.
wear
Oh,
clothes.
they're both
and
humans.
have cool hair.
Get back on your Riot rant.
I'm super excited to see him. I didn't know Riot was actually a real thing. I thought it was just Venom, Carnage, and Toxic.
There's a
Toxin.
and there's a bunch, and there's a lady one I forget.
Lady Ven,
Who's
But,
the lady one in the movie?
Miss Venom.
She's not in this movie. She's in another.
Well,
No,
wasn't there
but
a girl
how
cop?
is she not in the
Oh.
movie? She's literally
Oh
in the
no!
movie.
The one I'm talking about, she's like yellow and red. I'll try to find her. She's like dreadlocks as far as like some.
And she like shoots spikes out of her back.
Not the same. That's what I said. Not in the movie though. That
But
girl's
it's in the
such-
trailer.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
how
girl.
is it not in the
Who was
movie?
that girl?
Calm down. Don't get triggered. I'm saying that there is a girl symbiote, but I think this is a different girl, a different symbiote. So I'm
So
saying
there's
this is.
I'm not
this is-
saying she's a specific one. I'm
Okay.
just saying there's a
It looks
girl
like she
symbiote
does,
in the
but
movie.
in previous
And you're saying
trailers,
there isn't.
it looks like there's multiple people with the symbiote attached to them. So I think
Symbiote.
I know I keep going back and forth because the first trailer said symbiote, and now this is saying symbiote. I prefer symbiote, but I think there will be like weaker symbiotes, and then you'll go on to take on Riot. And then
So that's something too that I'm gonna throw out there as well. That when Venom is talking to Eddie and it's like, yeah, you know, if you want to see this through or stay alive or be alive at the end of this, you know, you help me figure this out or
We
do
need
what I
to
need to
cooperate.
do. Cooperate. I love
Classic-
that.
classic
Actually,
Billy.
I don't
It's
think
him,
that's
all the
exactly
tropes.
what he said.
I think it's
we need
such
to cooperate.
it's such a cool idea too in movies when they have like that background kind of effect, just kind of like speaking to the main character, and it's like an actual, like everyone else may think the guy's insane, but it's an actual entity or something is present in that person, and they're communicating. I think that's going to be a very cool dynamic to see in this film, and I really can't wait to see, you know, Venom kind of being that humorous kind of good guy at times, and like working with Eddie to like kill off these weaker symbiotes. I think that would be super cool to see.
Hour 15, 2 topics gone through. What was I gonna say? One, what other movies have you seen where they have someone talking to them like that? I just wanted to know. You can think about that. So I guess I'll finally talk about the trailer. This trailer has done nothing as far as change whether I think it's gonna be a great movie or a bad movie. Since this movie has been announced, and up until today with the trailer, I still feel the exact same way. This could go either way. None of these trailers are amazing. None of them are bad. What I think this movie's gonna be, and Ty's like, I hope it's not too cliche. It's gonna hit every cliche in the book.
Oh yeah.
Taylor loves cliche plots, and he just brought up so much stuff like villain and the hero, like villain making a plan to the hero, you know, fighting a similar villain. I think it's gonna be very 2000s superhero-ish. I get those complaints. I'm hoping for me it's just gonna be like a solid 7 out of 10 because the plot looks very basic bitch, but the stuff with Venom just going around tearing through people. There's just one shot of him like ripping through a building really quick, like climbing up it. I think I'm gonna get what I want out of this movie. I'm comparing this to like a Halloween or like a Friday the 13th where, yeah, it's not gonna, sometimes they're great, but most of them they're not gonna break the boundaries. I'm just hoping to go for a fun time and see Jason rip some people up. I think that's what I'm gonna get with Venom. Like the plot's gonna be your basic, like all the counselors are there and they're doing drugs and having sex. Like that's this plot. Like, oh, there's a scientist who wants to save the world and some guy accidentally gets in this sticky situation. But I think the stuff that I'm gonna love is the Venom stuff. All the Venom stuff looks good except for the humor. I will not agree with Taylor. Taylor, did you just
Venom
search up films?
I have to remind myself.
Oh, no, you have to cheat.
Gamer.
Oh God, gamer.
You like Gamer.
I do,
You
but
like Gamer.
it's such a weird thing to throw out.
Beautiful mind.
What movie was Gamer?
Gamer, Gerard Butler, Michael C. Hall. It's where they play like. You
Oh
can
yeah,
take
he's like
actors
that.
and people
It's
in
like
movies.
Battle Royale, but
It's like VR before VR.
Yeah, one day. I don't think any of the comedy works in this trailer. Dylan shot out the like, you know, oh, I have like a parasite or something, and he walks away. One, I think that's the end of the movie. Actually, that thing of him in the diner, I think that's after everything because it's that shot of him being like, "We are Venom," which also looks terrible when it's a half Venom.
He seems pretty comfortable.
Yeah, so I think that's legitimately how the movie ends, or that's an end credit scene, just the way it was, like, oh yeah, I'm cool, so that's how the movie ends. Travis told you. And the jokes,
Or it's just one of those scenes that's not actually in the movie.
True,
Just
true.
an
Could
extra
be end
scene.
credit
yeah.
scene.
I said that. I did.
Where were
say
you
that.
10 seconds ago?
I said it was in the movie. I said that or an end credit scene, because that's like a classic Marvel, like, here's your haha end credit scene.
Here's your ha-ha.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be alright. I think I'm gonna like the Venom stuff. The Venom stuff that I like is the line when he's like, lungs, eyes, pancreas, so many snacks, all the time. I like that when Venom is being like, you know, James Gunn tweeting creepy, no, I'm joking, but like when Venom's being really like sick and gross and he's being like psychopathic, that's what I like. When he's kind of making little quips, it can't actually fit because animated Venom does do that. I just think these quips are not working out for me. Like when he does say a turd in the wind,
puns.
yeah, when he says turd in the wind, I don't know who's writing that. I don't know what's happening there. That whole diners or like whatever 7-Eleven scene was really off. So I think I'm just hoping 7 out of 10. That's all I ask. If anything more, great. Anything lower, I can deal with. But I think I'm just gonna love the Venom stuff. That's about it. And I think I'll still like Tom Hardy. I hope I get used to the voice. I like the Venom voice because it's distorted. There's still times I can't understand what's happening, but hopefully that'll be fixed when we see the movie. So I'm excited, but I still know this could be like a garbage truck on fire.
Garbage truck.
You look like you wanted to say something else.
I do, yeah. So
Is it about Riot?
It's about Venom.
Taylor's starting a Riot podcast, by the way.
When he-
Riot retrospective.
When he
Wow.
basically like eats things and eats people's
Good
heads and body parts, where does it go? Does Tom Hardy, like when the symbiote goes away,
Turn
does
the
Tom
wind.
Hardy
Keeps
have
it-
it?
Well,
Like,
when a
inside
man
him?
and a woman really love each other. No, I think it's in the.
I imagine it just like gets turned into some nutritious paste.
Yeah. For the symbiote, though, I don't
Yeah.
think it goes. I don't think the people go into Tom Hardy.
I mean, technically they do because the symbiote then goes into Tom Hardy.
I don't think
It's
so.
just paste.
Not the way I think of it. Like, to me, it's always attached on the outside of him, never like fully on the inside. That's why when he separates his face, it's always like an outer skin on him, right?
Oh,
That's what I've always taken.
I'll be honest, I never knew that they worked that way. I thought they were always like they.
No, I did
literally
clarify that. I
were
said that's the way
part
I
of them.
take it because we don't know what's under his clothes, you know. So in comics, like when it comes over, maybe it is inside him or maybe it's just on his back. That's the way I've taken. Because if it is in him, then yeah, Tom or Eddie Brock is digesting humans. I just never thought Eddie Brock was doing that. So
Okay, so yeah, no, that makes sense. Now I can see why you would consider it a suit because it's just an exterior shell.
well, just because like the way I've thought about when his mouth opens at the end, that's not Eddie Brock's mouth. That's a symbiote on top of his face because Eddie Brock's mouth could not do that. So that's the way I've always looked at it. That's why it's a suit.
I've always thought of it like it melds with his DNA and it just like morphs him.
Morphs.
So he's like morphing into
Mighty
it.
Morphin.
That's what I want. More Mighty Morphs.
More Mighty Morphs.
Yeah.
So, next topic also.
Are you done there, Taylor?
Oh yeah, I got my answer.
Okay. You know what they're not done with? Making Batman movies. Matt Reeves, who directed Planet of the Apes, he's working on his Batman movie. So, to give a quick rundown, these were some rumors that came out right after Comic-Con. There are some people that have done some stuff right, some not. People have, like, other news outlets have carried it, but still, I would say that, you know, don't hold your breath. But other people have heard this, that they're saying Matt Reeves' Batman is going to be based on Year One. Year One is a comic book about Batman's first year of being Batman.
What?
Year One.
Crazy title.
And then people kind of like, that's kind of weird, and then more information came out that it's not necessarily going to be another origin movie, but it's going to be about his years of like the 2 or 3rd years being Batman. They are looking for an actor from 25 to 30, a guy who's Jack Houston. Jack Houston, who's an actor, apparently auditioned for Batman along with Jake Gyllenhaal, but because they're going younger, he's not playing him. I know you guys don't know who Jack Houston is. Phenomenal actor.
He sounds like an
also
astronaut.
too old.
What?
Is Jake Gyllenhaal also too old?
Yeah. He's like almost 40. But he's been rumored
Is
to
he?
like...
He could look.
Yeah.
In my mind, he's still like 21.
But I know this is important for you guys. Boardwalk Empire, he's fantastic in the movie, or show, one of the best parts. But he might be playing Harvey Dent, so there's confirmation that Harvey Dent might be in there with the Penguin. So how do you guys feel about a younger Batman? Kind of, it's not necessarily an origin story, but it's in those years. And also to give you some context where some people, maybe myself, push back a bit, where they're saying, oh, it's inspired by Year One. That's what Batman Begins was also inspired by. So there's obviously some people being like, hey, you know, almost 10 years ago we just got Batman Begins. So how are you guys feeling all about this? Obviously, big Planet Apes fans here as well. So.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. Yeah, you're down for
I'm
another
down
young
for
Batman?
Matt Reeves, the Apes.
Oh, that's why?
Good
Yeah.
things. It could go either way for me. If it is and if it does end up going towards more like that 2 or 3 years after he becomes Batman, that kind of younger Batman, but he's kind of in the groove now.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I think that's kind of cool and kind of that unexplored territory to some degree because he's still. I could see a lot of themes with him like battling with his morals and deciding what kind of a vigilante he wants to be.
You don't think that's the Nolan trilogy though?
Also true.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
throwing it out there.
So
That was like
it's
7 years ago.
yeah. So
I'll move on.
I think it's
to the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
but it's more like doing that rather than just being like the origin story that
Yeah, it's
Nolan
not.
already
Yeah.
covered. So.
I guess the reason because when you're talking about finding out like his morals, that's kind of like the theme of the Dark Knight is how far is Batman gonna go to stop the Joker, right?
Yeah.
And that one rule. So.
Very true. What was I saying? Yeah, so it'll be. I honestly wouldn't mind another origin story, depending on how they do it. I mean, I'm open to most ideas, but again, like with how recently Christopher Nolan did his Batman movies, it's you don't want to stray too far from what Batman is, but you want to do something new, and I think that's gonna be tough with how recent it was because. You're gonna have to mix things up, or people are gonna be like, "Oh, I'll just go watch the Christopher Nolan Batmans again." Like, why do I need this new and improved thing? Also, every Batman origin story, you know, you hate to see his parents die.
Oh, I love it.
The poor guy, you know, just twice in a decade now. That's not what you want.
More than most people.
Well, yeah, I think
So,
you brought up a good point about not going too far because we've just had, you know, Suicide Squad not too recently, and that maybe went a little, like, oh, we gotta be really different.
Yeah, so it'll be, I'm curious about it. Obviously, there's gonna be more in that timeline, like what they're gonna do with that timeline and whatnot, where he is as Batman, how much of the origin story they cover directly with the film, how much they just kind of talk about. Because I feel like if it's going to be this newer, like a new kind of Batman movie, its own thing, they obviously need to cover the origin to some degree, especially if it's that close to the origin, to when the origin happens. So it'll be interesting to see how they cover that, and if it's just kind of with what they did with the new Spider-Man, how obviously, so they could do it in that kind of
Don't even
way.
talk about his parents if something bad happens.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like hint at it, but then really focus on the now, or really focus more on the past and then what he's doing now. And being DC and Batman, I think there needs to be much more of a focus on that origin story and how he kind of became to be Batman, rather than Marvel. They can easily kind of skip over it.
Well, it depends. Is this going to be a one-off movie like this Joker movie, or is
he wants to be a trilogy? Is the word that he's planning, like Ape Psycho.
Okay.
In that case, I do think that it does. Especially if he does do the trilogy, you do need to have that kind of foundation. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited for it either way. I'm always down for more Batman. I'm down for
Mr. B.
a change of pace from what DC's been doing.
I'll give you this yes or no because I'll give it to everybody. Do we actually see, even like just a flashback scene, do we see the parents get shot again? Or is it just mentioned? And I'll ask you guys that as well. It's been shown 4 times on film so far.
Yes.
4 separate films.
Yes, I think you do.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not like directly like the parents. Like you get like maybe like quick flashes of like a gun shooting and then like.
That's what I mean. Still, you see it in some.
But yes, you do see the parents die. 100%.
Dylan, how do you feel about dead parents?
I don't think we're gonna see it. That's my prediction.
Yeah?
No.
The homecoming approach, they don't even talk about Uncle Ben?
Maybe they'll talk about it. Maybe Albert, or what's his name? Alfred.
Albert, oh no.
Might be. I knew as soon as I said it, I was like, that's wrong, but it's close.
He has only seen 3 Batman movies, so calm down.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Batman fan, really.
You've not seen the OG 4?
I don't think so.
Really?
You haven't seen Batman 66?
No.
Yeah, I've seen Batman 66. Yeah, Batman 66 is great. Yeah.
I'm clearly not watching Batman 66.
I really hope they put that on the streaming service, so I want to rewatch them all from
They don't put every single DC movie ever to exist on the streaming service, so I don't pay for it.
I think they will over time. Some they can't. Like Suicide Squad and BVS have contracts with HBO and stuff. They got
That's their mistake.
Well, they didn't know this.
Yeah, what are you doing signing contracts for? So Matt Reeves, this is something that was kind of rumored like probably over a year ago, wasn't it? It was a while ago.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before on cast.
It was rumored, but it was confirmed a while back ago.
The Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a fan of the Apes movies of recent times. So I'm curious to see what he does with this movie. Year 1, I don't know. I'm cool to not see the origin stuff again, but I think it'd be fun to see another version of Batman still like in the earlier stages, still figuring stuff out, where he's still like fucking up a lot and like still coming up with his plan and doing a lot of detective work. I think that could be fun. Honestly, I don't really. I don't know. I guess if he's planning to do a trilogy, then maybe I don't know. I guess it probably would involve more origin story stuff. I would think.
I think
because if he's doing a trilogy, he probably has already in his head like some sort of outline for like this is where the character starts and this is where it ends.
It would be nice for DC to have something.
It would be nice for that to exist for once. But if that is the case, then I think if we're gonna spend 3 movies with this character, this Batman, then it's good to have that origin stuff. Whether or not you show it on screen or you have Albert talking about it, as long as it's like mentioned because it's important for who the character is today. And obviously that's probably a big reason why Batman doesn't kill anyone, right?
Yeah.
Is because of his origin. So you have to talk about it at some point. Well, I guess you don't have to, but it certainly helps to give the viewer an understanding of the character. Obviously, it's something that most people already know about.
And look at the Apes trilogy. Big origin story for Caesar, how that starts off, right? That whole first movie established him. And even the second one is like, in the Planet Apes original series, Caesar is like a god, right? And even then, like, the first movie established him, and the second one, he's not even like he's the leader, but he's not like that mythical like he's in the third one. So even the like 1 and 2 together in Apes are almost origin story-esque in a way. So.
A lot of development for the character,
yeah.
for sure. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm excited for this movie because I'm not like a huge Batman fan. I think he's cool, but there's more things I'd be interested about. But I honestly, that's all I have to say about this. Go ahead, Taylor and Travis.
I don't know. I'm feeling kind of burnt out with the Batman stuff. Not gonna lie.
We haven't got a solo Batman since 2012 though.
Yeah, but we still see more.
but
It's still pretty close.
I don't know. I feel like Marvel's not redoing different Captain America origin stories and movies and all that stuff.
Dude,
It's 'cause they got it right.
Completely different though. Yeah, I don't like they're sticking to one continuity where now DC's been like, hey, we're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, but they're not doing it anymore because they keep screwing up on their own end.
True, but then what should they do? Should they just not make Batman films at all?
I think they should take a long break and, like I said before, focus on different characters
Batman
like
makes too much money.
Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You have to remember
they
it's
have.
a business. I mean,
I know, but I
Batman's
feel
your
like
superstar.
they have such good potential with characters like their Shazam or different origin stories like that they could dive into. I feel like that's the market they should be tapping
They
right
are
now.
doing them though. That's the thing. Like it's not like, hey, we're gonna make Batman, so scrap Shazam, put that movie in the can. Like that movie's still coming out, and
I know. I guess
the Batman would
this,
be years away.
This is still this new Batman coming out. It's like, oh, okay, another story. I just got tons of Ben Affleck Batman, and I just feel like everything's just too clustered and too back to back. Like when Batman Begins came out, it felt fresh, great, and it has a solid foundation, and just had its own trilogy. Then it ended, and then we had a long break, and then I was ready for Batman to come back. I was waiting for it.
Well,
And
okay,
then-
but so when are you counting You're counting Justice League as Batman's last appearance, right? So then, if you're talking about a long break, there's only 3 years in between Dark Knight Rises and BVS. That's not that long.
It's only 3 years.
Yeah. So if Justice League came out last year, 2017, this movie won't be out till like 2020. That'll be the same amount of time. That long break that you were talking about.
I guess I don't want to have to go through the stress of them changing through actors and all this.
There's
Like,
no
we got this Batman,
there's
but
no
we're doing
stress.
this Batman movie and this
I-
prequel Batman movie and then a sequel Flashpoint Batman movie.
Well, Flashpoint isn't happening anymore, and then I don't think there's even a statement of, hey, Affleck's not doing this. They'll cast them, and I think Affleck will just be, they'll do the Disney. They'll just be silent about it. They'll say, hey, Matt Reeves wanted to tell an origin story. Clearly Ben Affleck's 50, and that's a nice way of them saying, oh yeah, I wanted to be Batman, but they went another way, so, and then Matt Reeves will be like, oh, I love Ben, but I want to tell this story. So it's like, it makes it a perfect, it's that classic breakup of like, oh, it's a mutual breakup, right? Even though somebody pulled the plug, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's all good.
If we have a couple years then before it comes out, then I'll give it that time. I need that commitment right now. I need them to commit to a project. Don't be screwing up or changing around.
But then it's like, do you want them to keep doing the DCU and to stay committed to that?
Yeah.
Like, I feel
Well,
like
the
if it's a
DC
sinking ship.
No, let's just say the DCU is completely falling apart. So I've accepted that.
Is it completely though? Like I think the
There's
connectivity.
still
is
2 more movies coming out.
Aquaman and
Pro-
Wonder
pro
Woman
movies.
and Shazam is actually in that universe, right? Because those kids are wearing the shirts and they had the Batman thing. So that universe is like, it might be on life support, but it's still there. There's movies in this universe still. I just think they're just not building towards a, hey, we're gonna have the big crossover. I think you'll see Justice League 2 in like 10 years when they've knocked it out of the park and they'll be like, okay, people want to see these characters together finally, and not just whatever. So what are you saying commitment-wise? Because the thing I would counter with, and I think at San Diego, I'm turning into fucking Ron Burgundy. I think at Comic-Con they did a good thing of, they didn't come out and be like, well, look at our slate of 20 million movies that don't get made. They just showed those 3 movies, and that, like, we didn't see the Wonder Woman footage, but that's happening. They showed Shazam, Aquaman, they didn't talk about anything else. And to me, that's them saying, like, we are taking it slow, and you'll hear, these are rumors, this isn't them putting it out, so I feel like you'll officially hear, hey, we got this guy cast Batman when it's ready to go. I think Comic-Con showed that they have some restraint, where last year they announced Flashpoint,
Well,
that's not
and
happening
that's good.
anymore.
That's the commitment and the stability I want, between my relationship with me and DC. I want them to
It's a rocky relationship already.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
I just,
On a date shoot.
they've announced this with Matt Reeves, which is great, and this new Batman Year One, which I think, it's a cool idea. I'm actually very intrigued, as
If you are intrigued, if people don't want to read the comic book, because reading can be work,
Flashpoint?
but it's what? No, you're
Oh, you're what?
I think it's on a roll play. There is a hour-and-a-half animated movie which is really good.
Killing joke, don't say it.
No. But this is really good. Bryan Cranston voices Commissioner Gordon.
Cranston?
my man.
It's actually
He was
really
in
good.
Malcolm in the Middle.
So if you ever get a chance to watch Batman Year One, if I get my DC streaming guys, you guys should watch it. It's good. They just adapt the book. It's very good. So.
Yeah, I just want them to follow through and be like, okay, here's A, B, and C for the trilogy. That's it. We're at the beginning, middle, and end. This is the Batman. we're not going to be going through any kind of contract issues or anyone's leaving the
Well,
project.
you can't.
Like,
You
I
can't-
guess-
yeah,
What if
you
it's
don't
just
know.
really bad and someone leaves?
Ben Affleck originally was going to direct the Batman, right? And then shit happens. I think he signed on completely, being like, yeah, I can't wait to make a Batman movie. And then apparently the problem was he put in a script and DC said, hey, we don't like this script. And maybe they had every right to do that. I don't know. Ben Affleck's a fucking Academy Award-winning director. I still would have loved to see that movie because I don't know why you turned down that script. Maybe it's just fucking awful, but like, I don't know. It just felt like that was a time where they're like, it sounds like they wanted to be more
This is
Marvel.
Too good.
They wanted to be more like, let's get some quips in there and
Think
jokes.
of Marvel success. You know,
Yeah.
I can't have that here.
So there's always as Mike Tyson said, there's always a plan until you get punched in the face. You can keep going.
Yeah,
or you
but
can-
that's-
That's a classic
Yeah.
quote.
Have I been punched in the face?
Yeah.
I've been slapped multiple times.
That's not the question though.
It's not the question, but
It's
thank
not
you
the
for
question.
your.
You know,
Thank
if
you
I
for your
haven't-
years of child abuse.
If I have been punched, I don't remember it.
It was a
That's a
big
good punch.
But I,
Yeah.
I've already said it.
I'm taking it from you. Yeah, I'm just excited because it's Matt Reeves, fantastic as far as the Apes trilogy, one of the best trilogies out there. It did a good thing as far as the third one not sucking, which happens in a lot of trilogies. Only Dark Knight has done that. Only Toy Story's done that. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. Other than that, most trilogies, the third one are always quite lower in quality.
Give me 5 examples off the top of your head. Because I know you can.
Okay, so Spider-Man, X-Men,
Okay, X-Men, I'm not going to give that
Want
one
me
to
to
you.
help you out?
Godfather. What? No.
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Well, no.
Hey,
because
Taylor, get out here.
no, that wouldn't even count that because the second one went down. Lots of people would say Pirates, but people would say the second one went down. Let's see. What would
One
be-
more, you just need one more.
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to think of a good one of like what.
Classic.
Oof.
I think I have one.
Don't tell me though.
I'm not.
It's my competition. I have to get it.
Something of recent times, perhaps. Is that what you're thinking of?
Oh, Superman.
No, okay.
Superman. But there is more.
You could have said Blade Trinity.
But yeah, Blade Trinity. That's there is. There's probably great rankings online of 25 trilogies. That
No,
should
good
be
job.
good.
That was, you answered like
That
7
should be
off the top of your head.
Yeah.
So.
What was yours, Taylor?
Well, I didn't know if Back to the Future 3 was really the most
That's a
popular.
No, I think it is. People say it's not as good.
Not as good.
I'm just not a big fan of all those movies. So.
Really?
I like them enough, but it's just. No, I've never loved them the same way everybody else has. But you know what I'm gonna love is hopefully it's Matt Reeves' trilogy. Yeah, so we've seen the origin 4 times on screen. In '89, though, this is the thing. It wasn't origin. It was just Michael Keaton talking, saw flashbacks. Val Kilmer, he just had flashbacks. He had PTSD. And then the only time we've really seen the origin, as far as an origin movie, is Batman Begins. So I'm not opposed to it. My worry is just okay, so you start off with him, origin, okay, kind of origin-ish as young Batman.
Parents get killed.
Of course, that's the way it goes. I like now the rumors of Harvey Dent and Penguin, because Penguin cannot carry the film on his own. I don't know if he becomes Two-Face. If Jack Houston's Two-Face, that's great, but Harvey Dent, that's a good way. Maybe they can even build up to him becoming Two-Face. My worry is it could be similar to Nolan's, where the first one's kind of originating. The second one, I feel like every director who does Batman wants to play with the Joker, so I feel like the second one's when you could get introduced to Joker. Maybe they hold it to the third and I'm fine, but I just worry that first movie's origin, second movie is him, dealing with this big threat, and then the third movie is his closing time, and that's exactly what Nolan's was, right? I don't want this, but I'd almost be more confident if they said, hey, Matt Reeves wants to do 6 of these things, and I'd be like, oh, great, because I said I want a Harry Potter Batman. I want to be like, hey, we're making a 12-film arc with Batman, strap in. So we could see villains like Black Mass, or like Hush, like people haven't seen before. I don't want to see the classics all the time. I want to see Mr. Freeze, So I'm excited. I don't know. I don't know. When it's origin, I don't know. I'm kind of done with origin, especially Batman. I hope they don't take the full-on Homecoming route, because I hated that they did not talk about Uncle Ben. Just Aunt May's having a tough time. And it was just like, because kids are your primary audience. We don't want to talk about the Uncle Ben gone down. But I want them to talk about it a bit more. I want Albert in there. Albert needs to be Jack, though. Low voice. If he's changed to Albert.
Big
now.
Albert,
Yeah.
Just like played by The Rock or something.
Oh, 100%.
Like John Cena.
They're going for a young Batman.
I feel like John Cena could be he could do the butler thing,
Wow, that's a weird butler. And
And
then
like a nice tux and
For
Maybe some
actors,
shorts.
I hope they go for a no-name. Christian Bale was a relative no-name when he got Batman Begins. I'm not gonna be hipster Travis. I knew he was because American Psycho, one of my favorite movies. Yeah, no, but like,
Interesting movie.
have you seen it?
I have seen it. I watched it like a year ago.
Did you retain those videotapes?
What?
Or you've only seen it once?
I've
right?
only seen it once, so if you reference anything, I'm probably not.
I have one friend we can just quote it back and forth. It's pretty impressive.
Oh,
but
that'd be nice.
I saw that movie and I loved Christian Bale. I was like, man, he would be a perfect Bruce Wayne. I don't have
It
any.
was not the movie I was expecting.
Oh no, it's fucking. It's a weird ass movie. Weird book too.
Great.
He kills a kid in the book, so spoilers.
Oh, I'm on the third chapter.
Damn.
Right
James
now.
Gunn, you gotta step it up.
James.
Oh, delete those books. But yeah, so for me right now, I haven't looked at a bunch of like who could play Batman, this and that. I'm gonna soon, but I don't have any actor right now jumping at me in the 25 range because you know what I'll go with? I'm gonna go with whatever that fucking guy's name is Dylan, whatever from Power Rangers, and he's in Stranger Things season 2. It's like Dylan.
Which Ranger was he?
He's the red one. He's the main character. He's something. I can't remember what his name. It's
What
like
did he do in Stranger Things season 2?
he's the bully.
The
Have
girl
you
with
seen
the
season
brother.
2?
Oh
He's
yeah.
got a little long hair. Yeah, he's
Yeah, oh,
completely
yeah.
different. Yeah, Kirkman's
Yeah.
saying the same thing.
I
he's
love that.
fucking so good in that. So that's my pick. Dylan, whatever.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna find out.
goodness.
But yeah,
Whatever.
he's because
It's
I'm
actually Dylan West.
and just because
In
I'm.
disguise.
It's also
And I
Travis.
don't get paid.
It's also
at all.
Travis told you
I'm
because
poor.
I was completely right about the Pink Ranger. She's in Charlie's Angels. She's in Land.
Oh, yeah.
I said she's gonna be a big star, and I said he was gonna be a big star. So I am on a fucking roll. I'll find out his name. Do we have
No,
anything?
he's
at-
the main like Power Ranger.
Yeah, he's good. So
He's
Yeah.
good.
that's my pick.
Hell of a
He's my people. I hope it's anybody that I put on my draft for this year.
except for him.
Did you pick many 25-year-olds?
I don't remember who I picked at all.
I know I didn't.
Which also to update you, so a couple last week, Kirkland got his first point for Pedro Pascal and Wonder Woman, and we haven't got the official announcement yet, but Jake Gyllenhaal has been spotted on the
He's
set
in
as
the set.
Spider-Man.
And that's my 2-pointer, so I would
Yeah.
be in first place, my
He's
dudes.
spotted on the set of Spider-Man.
He's been
Far
spotted.
from home, yeah.
I've seen
Big
him.
fan.
Is he Mysterio?
Well, they haven't officially said yet, though.
Yeah.
They're playing around. They won't say anything until.
Ooh.
Oh, I was completely wrong. His name's not down. Was it Dacre Montgomery?
Dacre.
Yeah,
Dacre?
I knew it wasn't Dylan.
Oswald
I just
He didn't say that though. He never said Travis. You're wrong. I knew it
I
wasn't
wasn't
Dylan.
sure. I wasn't
Dacre and Montgomery, you're gonna be
Dacre.
Batman.
Dacre Montgomery.
Matt
Is
Reeves.
that a picture of him on the side there?
No.
Right
Yeah, I
there.
didn't think so.
No,
No,
that's
that's
Jon,
Jon.
that's Jon Snow.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Are we done about Batman?
I
Always.
hope Mark Wahlberg doesn't play Batman ever.
He's not 25,
Really?
so I think he's.
I'd like to see
I
that.
just want to say that.
They could do like not a flashback, but like flash forward, and that could be like who it is.
You know, I love Batman, honestly, and I also love Mark Wahlberg. I don't want to say
Not at
Mark
the same
Wahlberg.
time.
to say- Like, Mark Wahlberg, if you're watching, I love your movies, but don't play Batman.
Some
I don't love
people,
Batman.
some people threw that out about Ben Affleck that the story could be about him remembering his days as young, but I don't want that because that
That'd be
shows
cool.
Batman. Yeah, but that shows Batman lives, so I don't want that.
Batman should die.
And I don't want to
Is that
forget
what
Ben
it is?
Affleck's
Affleck's
what?
Batman. So.
Ben
When
Affleck.
does Ben Affleck's Batman die?
Well, he wouldn't. So if he's like talking about, oh, my younger years as Batman, the whole trilogy, you know, okay, he makes it out. He's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know because it could be like a clone or something.
Whoa! Star Wars, you know who they're not cloning? I'm not gonna make that joke. So they announced the cast for delete those jokes, Travis. They announced the cast for episode 9. The two biggest ones, obviously, everyone's coming back, but they officially announced Mark Hamill's coming back, and they announced that they are bringing back Carrie Fisher, but they're using unused footage for Force Awakens. I imagine Last Jedi could be in there as well, but they specifically said Force Awakens to close out her arc. So obviously people are wondering, were they going to CGI, or were they going to recast her, or were they just going to kill her off? What do you guys feel about, obviously they announced Mark Hamill's coming back, so I think we kind of knew that, but still there's no mess around. And what do you feel about the use of Leia and unseen footage, or unused footage?
Personally, I still don't. I mean, I haven't seen the movie again, Last Jedi, that is, but I didn't like the. You know, I'm just gonna spoil it. If you haven't seen the movie yet, that sucks. But I'm gonna spoil it now. I didn't like that they killed off Luke Skywalker. At least the way they did it at all. Was not a fan. I think it was really unjustified for this character who's been around for so long, and for any character really. I just thought it was kind of a poor exit. So. I guess it's truly not his exit because he comes back in this one, you know, as Force Ghost, whatever it is. But still, he's in it, and maybe it'll be like a better send off for that character. And I don't know, maybe retroactively what they do with that character will make me like what happened with him more in Last Jedi and
Guardians 2 style.
Guardians 2 style, and it happens, and that would be nice because I don't really like Last Jedi.
What if JJ just said fuck it and just brought him back? Because
I would be
hoping.
Honestly, like there was a lot of that memeing going on, like petition, like read Last Jedi. Like I'm not gonna sign it seriously, but like I would sign it and like see that movie done again by someone else.
I'm not saying he redo the movie. I'm just saying he finds a way that when he disappeared in Last Jedi, maybe he didn't die. He just went somewhere else.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
It was also a Force Ghost.
Multiple Force Ghosts.
No, I wish
projection.
Ryan would drop some controversial tweets and they'd get him out of here and we could get some of these.
You saw it? Did you see delete 20,000?
I did see that.
He's prepping. He's like, they're not taking that trilogy away from me.
20,000.
Yeah, but the thing is, people got those screenshots, you know?
Well, maybe not. Maybe he found a way. Maybe he knew it was coming. They're like, you got till midnight. We're screenshotting shit. Oh, shit.
How do you just like
There's apps.
quickly delete? Okay.
I've checked into it as I'm going to delete lots of. I don't even know if I have controversial stuff, but I just know that who knows that as any part. So I've considered deleting every single one of my tweets and starting fresh and check. I remember exactly what I tweet now, or just tweet promotional stuff really.
Just like delete a tweet after a week, so it's just.
No, I mean just tweet just GeekVerse stuff, like just promoting the brand and that's it.
Oh, that'd be there's no personality there. Though.
Yeah.
If
I
you don't
know,
have some
that's
dirt,
the tough thing,
if you don't
right?
have some dirt under your boots, where have you been? You know, that's what my uncle was.
But I know I've never made
You
any
could have
jokes like
flown
that.
everywhere.
Wait, how do you get on the plane?
Pavement.
And what do you feel about Carrie Fisher and how they're using that?
I think it's kind of funny because I feel like JJ's not stoked with what Rian Johnson did with the characters and the story. So he's probably like, man, like I still got some stuff in the archives of the stuff I didn't use for that movie, and I think it'll be better for the end of that character.
I can't
That's
support
like
that
my-
conspiracy theory because it's not. He
Maybe
didn't.
he shot like an entire episode 8.
He's just gonna
And
use
he
it
just-
for episode 9 because
I just
episode
feel like
8
maybe
didn't end
JJ's
with-
not stoked with
No.
what Rian Johnson did with a lot of the things that he introduced in his movie, right?
But I don't think them using the footage is because I shot this cool footage. I think it's just how else would you do the Carrie Fisher? Like what
Of
would
course.
you have done if they say, hey, Dilmas, you're making the decision. We're either writing her off, we're using this footage, we're recasting, we're doing the CGI, like because they gotta do something. So I don't think it's a hate. I think he doesn't like. Well, I don't think he agrees with everything Last Jedi. I have quite a bit of idea. He told me at dinner, but that's confidential. But the footage, I think, is not so much of a fuck you, Rian Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen recently this CGI technology is pretty insane. I think they could do it well, and obviously there's still maybe an ethical concern of whether or not people like that, but also it is still fits in that too soon category. Whereas, what's the name of the guy they recasted in?
Peter Cushing, who's been dead for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a little more time to stew on that one. Whereas Carrie Fisher is still
the corpse isn't born.
Trying to talk about a serious
You
topic here.
know what? 10 minutes ago, you on purpose were interrupting while I was talking about Batman. You'd be like,
Me?
purple.
Why'd you want
No,
me?
Dylan, because
Pointing
you're talking
directly
to
at me.
Tyler, and you're like, and you
I was brought into it against my will.
And before it was just a meme, but now they do it on purpose to troll me every time I start a cast. They just try to interrupt me, so fuck all you.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
maybe
think
you're
I've
jealous
ever done
because
that
you get to
intentionally.
start the cast all the time. Maybe I want to start the cast, Travis.
What episode are we on?
206.
Get out of
here.
Did you know that before I said it?
Of course.
Okay, well, you know what? Fine. You intro GeekVerse next week.
I fucking will. Actually, I'm not going to be here next week.
Well, you
Um,
won't be on the Slenderman review.
the Slenderman review. I'll introduce that one. Yeah, so they're going to use some footage for Carrie Fisher. I don't
How
know.
do you do that?
We'll have to see because I wonder if I mean, I guess this is really the end of the trilogy. They could go back and play with these characters more if they want. They might also not do that. I wonder if these are things that are the end of the character, and maybe JJ was thinking of ending her character in episode 7, and then didn't.
Very convenient.
Very conveniently. So maybe we're gonna go back to that. Maybe it's just continue. My cat looks so sad that she's not inside right now.
You can let her
Sorry.
in. We only got one more topic to go after this.
I'll anyway.
You got 2.
We got 2.
Random.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if how they stitch it together to make it fit into the movie they already have, and how that's going to work with how these other characters have evolved since episode 7. How are those characters in those scenes, and is that going to fit?
Yeah.
Is the look going to be off? I don't know. There obviously
People
could
age.
be, it could be poor, but honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's just. I think in some way it's still just honoring her and her legacy because obviously Star Wars is incredibly influential for movies and, I mean, culture in North America even in general. Like, it's just massive. So I think she's a big part of that. So to give her maybe a proper send-off is maybe what they're looking for. So I don't know. We'll have to see if it actually fits the movie or if it more just feels like they wanted to do it for her legacy. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, Dylan didn't shit on Star Wars. Usually you say that about it being so big, and then
Usually I
not
start
for me.
Usually I start by saying, so I'm not a big Star Wars fan, and then I say what I'm going to say, but people already know that, and if they don't, whatever.
You go watch our other casts.
You go watch our other casts.
Briggs, what are they doing with this footage?
Let's
And
just
Mark
break the
Hamill.
China cabinet.
Yeah, you know what?
I say, JJ, you got a lot
Want to
of work.
introduce the show?
You got a lot of work to do. You know, after Last Jedi, it's not looking bright. But,
Solid 7.58 out of 10.
I'm curious because Hamill, I feel like they're not just gonna use him as a Force ghost. We'll start with that one.
Really?
I feel like there's a good chance JJ just straight up he's still alive.
Wow.
He's like,
that'd
fuck
be bold.
you, Ryan Johnson. Fuck you, Disney.
Oh,
I'm doing my own thing.
delete those tweets.
Yo, Dylan got out there real quick. Those of you who are not watching the cast but listening, Dylan went outside in the matter of 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's quick.
Very
He
quick.
was holding his cat.
Yep. And now the cat's gonna be inside, and you're gonna listen to that for the
I
rest
think
of
you
the
can put
cast.
him downstairs.
Yeah, probably that's just saying things.
Okay.
Anyways, what was I saying? So Mark Hamill, I think he's coming back as a person.
Wow.
So it's bold strategy, but he's got to do something bold to recover. And then, as far as Carrie Fisher, I think it's tough. I think it's a very tough situation he's in, but I actually don't mind the idea of using. Maybe he did have some footage of wanting to end Leia's kind of journey at the end of episode 7, and then they didn't use that because for whatever reason, maybe Ryan Johnson was like, "Nah, I need her for episode 8."
He would sound like that too. Maybe.
Come on, man. You know we're trying to make a trilogy here. You know, let me do something nice with this.
Okay.
And then, so I could see her having like that, like a full like segment of her going on some mission or doing something, and that ends up with her
Mm-hmm.
dying, passing away, being written off in some way or other. So, yeah. So I think that's probably at least for me, that's what I could see being the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I do think it is like important that she does have a proper send off as well for this for Star Wars, because I think she was such a big part of the original trilogy, and the original trilogy was such a big thing. Anyways, so it'd be shocking if she didn't have a send off. They just ended with however they just write her off through some hologram or something. And it would just leave a bad taste in my mouth, I guess. So I think it's gonna be very tricky for how they do it. I think I always have faith in Star Wars for some reason. I always,
Really?
no matter, I still can't not look forward to it. I can't not believe in it. So I think they can pull through and finish off with a strong 9. If they don't, it is what it is, and I'm gonna be real sad. But I think this is the one that they really can't fuck up.
Okay. Yeah.
And it'll be very tough. It's hard to say what they'll do. 9 out of 10 options are probably the wrong ones, so JJ's got to find out 1 out of 10. That's what I have to say. I don't know.
Cool. Fair enough.
That's all I got. Taylor,
Big T.
you're up.
Since they announced this, I've been putting a lot of thought into.
Is that part of the small T?
You're all T's.
I guess.
Oh no, I'm the biggest T.
I didn't say he was the biggest. I just said.
Big T.
Anyway.
I've been putting a lot of thought into how they're going to incorporate the returning characters and that sort of thing. And I feel like Luke coming back as Force Ghost, absolutely. I feel like a lot of the things that were done in Episode 8 aren't going to be completely written off, and I think JJ is going to do a good job at, I don't want to say healing the fan base, but doing justice for Episode 8 by making Episode 9 much bigger and brighter. I feel like it's going to do a lot of good for Episode 8 and actually shed more story and structure and kind of just as I said, like do justice for it, for the fan base and the enjoyment aspect and the understanding of that movie. And I feel like, you know, incorporating Carrie Fisher's scenes from episode 7 that weren't used, I think that is a brilliant idea. As soon as I read that, I was very much happy with that and very interested and intrigued how they're going to do it. Because really we don't know what those deleted scenes are. They could be anything. JJ could have already recorded Leia being killed in episode 7 for all we know and just bring that over into episode 9. I mean, there's so many fitting ways that they could go about that, and I'm very intrigued to see how they do it. I think it does great justice to Carrie Fisher as a good send-off, and I'm just very intrigued by that. One of the characters that, one of the actors that was casted, Richard E. Grant, he was in Logan.
I know, yeah, I know what you're bringing up.
You know what I'm bringing up.
Yeah, I was gonna throw it to you.
He's in a lot of good movies as a villain, but basically.
What's the other movies he's in?
Who did he play in Logan?
He played the stereotypical science guy, who's just like, like the older guy.
The father of Logan X. That's what I'm calling him.
23. Yeah. You weren't a fan of him because he was generic.
I mean, that's a
Can you blame me?
Nope.
Right, you're just looking through his movies trying to find
He was in Spice Girls. I like that movie.
I like
He's a
this.
Spice Girl.
I like this.
But like that does not go for your statement of
Spice
saying he was a
Girls.
great villain in many movies.
I really
He's
like
not.
this trivia that we call each other out on things that we sound like we know a lot about.
He's not fucking Javier Bardem over here like being a villain all the time. Just
Garfield,
get to the theory. Get to the theory that he was.
Yeah, that's sick. So, yes. Now, there's the potential that he could be playing Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Oh yeah, it's always
Episode
Thrawn
9.
with you. Thrawn that.
Now,
Just throbbing for Thrawn 24/7.
I was thinking
Thrawn's
the
your
same
daddy.
thing.
there isn't any like confirmed
I
like
don't want that.
anything. Like there was a possibility like Mary Jade that could be appearing in episode 9, but she's been written out. Like she's not confirmed. She's
No.
Yeah, she's been confirmed. She's not in it.
Fuck off. By who? The writer?
The writer? He doesn't know a single thing about casting.
Doesn't
He writes.
say.
No.
Doesn't say,
So
but
how
I
can
read-
you have a confirmation? Who confirmed it? Oh, it doesn't say.
He confirmed
That's some
it, that's
James
the thing.
Gunn shit.
I will say right now, Mary Jade is not. That's
No,
my,
she's not gonna be in this movie, but it's not confirmed. Jay didn't come out and say, guess what, I'm not talking about Luke's wife. It's just because the creator came out and said, I don't think they're gonna use her, they haven't talked to me. And then he's also like, they didn't talk to me when they brought Thrawn back either. So it's like, you're a shitty source. Like, this doesn't matter.
So a reliable source.
It's an unknown
Trust
source.
me.
So one, that's not confirmed. And two, do you even know the theory of why he might be playing Thrawn, or did you just do the classic tale you saw a headline, you didn't read the
What
article?
is the theory that you've read?
That's a classic.
Because I've read a few articles, so tell me yours.
few.
Okay, the only thing
How many articles have you read? More than
one,
a few?
and it's the only one based in
Oh.
truth.
Two.
It's the only one based in truth. I don't know, because
You
your
haven't
theory is
need to
like,
read
oh, he
more
looks
than
like him
one.
and he's old. This one was, some fan tweeted about, hey, all this stuff about, this is why he'd be a great
Oh,
Thrawn.
is it because he liked the tweet or whatever? That's what you're going for?
Yeah, well, don't cut me off. Yeah, and then below a fan used the gif of Chris Pratt being really excited,
Chris
and he
Pratt.
liked that tweet. Yeah, he liked the tweet of a fan getting excited about the gif him playing Thrawn. So there's that. So he could just be fucking trolling fans, but okay.
What if
he
he's
could
just
play-
like very out of touch and didn't even use that
It could
picture
be,
in the
yeah.
wrong
What
way?
if he's just a, wow, Chris Pratt, what a beautiful guy.
No, he didn't use. He didn't
Yeah,
even
what's
use the
this
gif.
on?
He didn't use the gif. He just liked.
I know, but still, like you see that gif, you're like, that's a nice
Okay.
looking man.
Yeah,
Like,
so
maybe
it's a
he never
small
used it. like
theory.
literal. It's like a literal. I like this picture.
And what is
You
your
didn't read the tweets.
what is your second article? You said you read another article.
Well, the other
I'd say
article
a
was
few.
just
at
yeah.
least more than
Yeah.
two.
because that's a
Like,
very
Godzilla.
that's a very recent article that you just read. Is literally
Yeah.
this, the one I'm reading here is just like from 4 hours ago. But the article that
Ooh.
was posted a few days ago is just talking about how when he was revealed as he was casted in the movie, it was just how his accent played a key role in that, because obviously it'd be nodding towards like an imperial officer of some sorts because of that distinction. And obviously based on his past of playing like famous villains. in
Okay,
his
so
roles.
yours is just like a fan theory, fan casting.
The first
tweet one at
article-
least has some proof, like okay, he liked something.
It does,
that
and I
was
didn't
wrong.
see that until now.
Oh, so.
But I
different
based,
articles.
the other article that I was following was then just diving into this possible theory that, you know, he's been casted and he fits several different components about possibly playing as
Okay,
Thrawn.
but that's a
And
theory,
that got
that's
me
not a
really
rumor.
excited. That was a
That's
theory. And again, this is just a theory. He likes something, and again, it's based on whether he's enjoying people speculating his role or who knows what not, or he's genuinely giving out a little bit of a tease, nudge.
Hey,
Or he
Matt's
just really
fucked up.
likes that photo of Chris Pratt.
That too, yeah.
But for me, it just, you know, Disney has seemed to like, or Star Wars at least, has like taken things from the animated series and popping them up. And Disney has, just supported the sequel novel Thrawn Alliances, and they just pumped, Thrawn out with the TV series Rebels. So, they're doing huge nods, and, if this... Darth Vader hallway scene is one thing. Darth Maul end scene is a totally another thing.
In what movie? What are you talking about?
Star Wars movies.
What was Darth Maul in?
Which episode? Which minute?
Solo.
Oh, you spoiled
No,
people have seen it.
Oh, you know what? If you boycott it,
If
good
people
for
haven't
you.
seen it, they're not gonna see
If you boycott it, good for you.
Good for you.
But honestly, like,
okay, where are you going with this?
where
Because
I'm going with this is, if those Easter eggs were just huge, like, breaking points for me. If Thrawn is in Star Wars 9, honestly, I might have to walk out of the theater because I will not be able to handle how intense that will be. Thrawn is my favorite all-time Star Wars character.
I feel like that's the perfect argument for not walking
It's
out
going.
of the theater.
It will honestly break me. I will be in tears and shambles because this is a character. Like, at the time, I was reading his books when I knew there weren't going to be any more Star Wars movies. I love this character so much. To have him written into the show, it was fantastic. To get new books is fantastic. And to have a possibility of him being on the actual big screen just blows my mind. It's what I've been dreaming and craving of.
okay, a few things. One, Darth Vader being a Rogue One's not an Easter egg. He's a full-on character in that movie. Easter eggs in the
But the end
It'd be different if like there was the beach action and then in the corner you saw like Vader chomp in and oh, look at that Easter egg. Even Darth Maul, that's not an Easter egg. We full on those Darth Maul. So that's one. Two, I don't think it's a 50-50, but I think there's a strong case for it and a strong case against it. Yes, they brought Maul back in Vader, but they've not brought anything really from the canon over. Okay, Saw Gerrera, but no one huge. Not a RJ, not the Solo twins. Like Kylo's kind of like that, but no one by name yet. So that's going against them. They did that with Maul, so they're experimenting, but that's what I think is against it. What's positive for it? I think JJ's going to go out of his way not to retread episode 6 or anything like that, but I think he's going to take the Force Awakens route where I think he's going to make this very fan servicey, and I think if they announced Thrawn was in this actor's the right age. If they announced Thrawn for the Star Wars hardcore fans, that'd start to get people turned around and be like, oh, this character we all love, he's a very popular canon character, I want to see him in this, So I think there is still actually a chance. Mara Jade, no, she's Luke's wife, that's gone. Mark Hamill's old, you can't do that, and if they would have done that, they would have done Last Jedi. Should they have? That's a different conversation, but that storyline, it's too murky to do that. Thrawn, you could still do. So I think that's a case of if JJ wants to make if they're like, hey, you gotta make this movie fucking good, you gotta make fans really exciting, you gotta sell the streaming app, Thrawn is a good character to throw in there.
Well,
Rey with a purple lightsaber is a good call.
if spoiling without spoiling, but his story in Rebels is it's left completely out in the open, along with another character. So I mean, the only way that they would probably pick it up is with either this movie or they do like another animated series or something, who knows. I just feel like there's the potential to tap into it, and I feel like Kathleen Kennedy's gonna push for that kind of thing to jump into that and bring that kind of character's arc back. So, needless to say, if it happens, if that trailer releases and there's Thrawn in that trailer, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna break down as a man. That is oh.
So that's my follow-up. If he is in it, is he in the trailer or do they save it?
I feel like it would be a very brief, you would just see the shadow outline, and you'd hear him say some line or a quote, and it would leave people be like, oh, who's that? I don't know Star Wars or Thrawn, and then the people like me would be like, oh, it's Thrawn, whoa, and just absorb it. So.
Absorb it.
Is that all you gotta say on that?
I think so.
Okay, I'll make mine quick. Mark Hamill's just going to be a Force Ghost. They're not going to bring him back alive. Everyone wants it to happen. I get it. I didn't want Luke to die either, but it's just the way it is. I think there's a chance he could actually be in flashbacks as well, so you could get 2 for that. And Leia, I'll completely disagree with these guys. I don't think there's a chance in hell they shot any footage of her dying. I don't think they would ever kill Han and Leia in the same movie. So for me, I think this is going to be maybe footage of her on some separate mission they rework into the movie, and maybe that ship gets blown up or that tower gets blown up, and that's how you write her off. I would have get them writing her off in the crawl. I would have still gave them all and said, you know what, I get it, because it's tough. If an actor dies, excuse me, and an actress dies, you can't just come up thin air to make it work. That's what they're going to try with this footage, but it could seem very awkward. So for me, I'm always going to have the asterisks. It's very much like The Dark Knight Rises, where if the Leia stuff feels a little off, I'm never going to be like, oh, that really shit, because okay, they're trying to send that character off. It's about Carrie Fisher, it's about Leia, it's about that legacy. So even if it's a little awkward trying to splice these scenes with new scenes, I'll kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, you tried, but it'll never be as good, because The one thing is, I don't know if they filmed any of these scenes. Again, if they don't have any Leia and Kylo scenes, that really sucks. Because the fact that those characters don't have any interaction at all in the series is a big misfortune. And of course, she passed away, so you can't do it. But I'm hoping that's the scenes, that there's something there, even if it's force talking. But I think it's just going to be her on a mission. They might do some hologram stuff. They might have her off to the side. I don't know how you change the dialogue up, because you'd have to get another actress to do that, and they're kind of being iffy with that. So it's going to be interesting to see. JJ's just getting it laid on thick. You know, Last Jedi, Solo, this. Like, but hey, he brought back Star Wars. Majority of people loved, Force Awakens or liked it. So he brought it back from the prequels. So you know what? He can do it again. JJ's the best man who ever lived. So.
Wow. Bold claim.
You know who's the best man who ever lived? Probably not Mowgli, because he's going to Netflix. What do you guys think?
Now, going to Netflix, do you think that's a bad thing? Do you think that's like the original owners of the film who sold to Netflix didn't have faith, so Netflix bought it for nice and cheap?
They bought it for $15 million, which is very cheap for how much they spent on this movie. So for people that don't know, it's The Jungle Book. They're calling it Mowgli. Andy Serkis directed it. It was supposed to come out the same year as Disney's Jungle Book. For obvious reasons, it didn't. I think it's tough because you could look at Cloverfield Paradox and see last time a studio sold off a movie, it didn't really work out because that movie's not the greatest. So of course we were going to say that. But at the same time, I could also see Warner Brothers selling this not because they think it's a bad movie, just because they don't think it's going to make any money. And this movie will have 10 times the viewers it would ever have in the theaters than Netflix, just because I don't think people are going to pay to see Mowgli, because that Jungle Book's happening. And they're making a Jungle Book 2, the sequel to that movie. So I think it's super smart to put on there. I hope that's not anything but the quality, but I'm super excited. And they pushed it to next year. So it was supposed to come out this October. They pushed it. Apparently it's going to get a limited run in theaters because Andy Serkis worked really hard on the 3D. I'm super stoked. I like the trailer. I haven't seen Andy Serkis' movie he directed. I have to watch it with Andrew Garfield. Apparently it's good, but he's the mocap king. So I'm interested, and now it's on Netflix. Hey, I'll definitely see it. I'm sure we'll do a review of some sort whenever it comes. But I think it's too close to call. I don't know if they sold it because they didn't think they'd make money, or they sold it because, hey, we don't like this movie. I'm going to be optimistic and say it's because they thought they would make money.
Yeah, I don't have much of a nostalgic value for Jungle Book. I saw the recent one because a friend asked me to go. This one I probably would have gone to see it because of Andy Serkis. But, if it's on Netflix, it's easier for me to watch that way, and I don't really pay any extra for it. So I'm all for it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I probably would have gone to see this movie also. Andy Serkis and darker twist on classic tale. I was a fan of that kind of stuff. So, overall, I've been fairly indifferent towards it. Like, it's something I'd see, and I'd probably get a bit more excited to it closer to its release. But it's not like a huge deal what they do with it for me. I think that's. But you brought up a lot of good points with the fact that they're released on Netflix. It's gonna get a lot more viewership.
Oh yeah,
a lot more popularity, and people are gonna be talking about it a lot more once it comes out. So I think that's a good choice.
Good or bad.
And with Netflix, they can kind of do whatever they want to. As far as I feel like there's a lot more freedom as far as what the creators are able to do with it.
There definitely is.
I don't know if that's a point in this deal. If that kind of had any impact, but either way, I'm excited to see it now, and the fact that I now get to see it for free is pretty nice.
It's Netflix, but it's still like Disney, still a Disney product.
No.
Right? Well, it's a Disney story and characters, right?
No, Jungle Book's just a story that people have adapted. It's like Little Mermaid.
Really?
It's just like one of those novels that has been around for so long.
I always thought it was a specifically a Disney thing.
Oh no, yeah. So they just adapted.
Cool.
So the other thing I was gonna say with Netflix, I think a good thing for them is that they're hoping this is a big thing because they have tons of TV shows that are hits. The Marvel shows, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things. They still have yet to have that knockout movie that everyone's talking about. I think they really wanted that with Cloverfield, but I think they knew it was not that good, so that's why they did that hey,
it's out now.
Yeah, and that was cool and everyone would go watch it, but they have yet to have that big movie. They wanted Bright to be that. I thought Bright was alright. I understand why people have problems. There's some very awful parts of that movie, but they've not had that part yet. They've not had that huge movie. So I think even if they go Warner Bros. Wants to get rid of this, maybe they can't make a bunch of new viewers or money, but if this is the first movie that's getting really good reviews and people are saying, hey, you gotta watch Mowgli on Netflix, I think that'll help because all the movies they put out, original movies, you should go look like the Adam Sandler ones. Mute was a movie that guy who did Warcraft. I was really excited. That was very lame. Any Netflix original movie I've watched has not been. the greatest. And there's also a movie coming out next year with Martin Scorsese. He's directing a crime movie with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. So I think Netflix has the TV stuff. They're trying to, hey, you know, because I think Netflix movies are still looked at as lower tier. They don't. There's not like.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's their motivation behind this, and hopefully it's good. You know. So.
Right on.
Yeah, you're not saying.
Well, I'm next. Okay. I think
Do the math.
I never saw the other Jungle Book movie.
Wow, really? Still? After all
I
that?
haven't either.
Wow.
But I mean, it's a cool story. I like the old school cartoon, and yeah, no, I think it's interesting strategy. They sold it to Netflix, and Netflix is in debt, so.
They're fine though. They're gonna make it all back. They're gonna win the streamer war with Disney.
You know, I probably, if you guys are gonna go review it in theaters, I definitely would have no reason not to go with you guys if it was in theaters. But
now I'm not gonna review it.
It's on Netflix. I definitely have no excuse now. I mean, it's free. I'm already, you know, I'm entitled to it.
You pay $10 a month.
Yeah, but it's free along with
It's
everything
included.
else.
No,
It's
you
included.
paid for it.
That's the right
That
term.
movie technically costs
Dylan pays
$10.
for it, and I watched it on his.
Well, then you got it for free.
This has been done before. But what if I don't pay for it because it's my mom's account?
Oh shit.
Boom!
You guys got it for free. I don't pay for Netflix either. It's JJ's account.
JJ.
Mom.
An
I
exchange.
had,
for
James,
my
I had James
account.
Gunn's account, but there's some weird stuff on the continue watching.
Oh god.
Just jokes. I'll delete them later. You know.
No, I'm excited. I'm
Screenshot.
looking forward to
Screenshot
it though. If it's Andy Serkis, his
Serkis.
work, that's pretty cool because Andy Serkis is all into the mocap. And
He's directing and he
He's
plays
been known.
Baloo.
He's been known. He's all in the mocap. He puts the suit on every night before bed.
Quite literally all mocap.
He's directing and he plays Baloo as well.
Baloo.
He actually got his entire skin tattooed. His
His
body
entire
was
skin
was
tattooed.
tattooed into a
It's
mocap.
a big organ to get tattooed.
Mocap.
Oh, that looks
Yeah,
good.
shit,
So I'm
yeah.
down. Some books of jungles.
Books of the Jungle variety.
Any other movie TV news?
No, sir.
Let's get over to gaming. Oh, shit.
He specifically did a little jingle.
I just want to throw it out there that there's this little conversing about
Is this Walking Dead related?
no.
Okay.
Jurassic Park
Was this commented
related.
on the official thread on the GeekVerse page
Oh.
that we do about news we're talking about?
I didn't get a chance. I was making the thumbnail.
Oh.
That's bullshit. I
That's-
posted that in
that's
the morning.
But it's only a quick 15-second news drop. So
And then we
Colin
turned it
Trevorrow
into a
was
minute.
like, "Oh yeah, Ellie Sattler and Dr. Alan Grant will be coming back possibly. Like he'd love to see them. He'd love to see them make a return for their characters in Jurassic World 3."
I don't know who they are.
You
so-
oil car salesman. They're coming back, possibly. They're the two main characters in Jurassic Park. Alan, like Dr. Grant, and then his former love interest.
He felt like
Alan
Fallen
Lord.
Kingdom was a good kind of focus point for Ian Malcolm's character, and then
What? He was in one scene for a minute.
believe it or not, that's what he said.
Fuck Jurassic World so much.
But he feels like a fan said they would like to see those characters return. Colin Trevorrow agreed and said, he would very much like to see those characters
You
for
know
the
what?
fan base
I'm gonna
return.
go and call him Trevorrow's Twitter. I'm gonna go dig up some.
You said the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're
Get
directing
more
Jurassic
political
World 3,
debate with
buddy.
them.
You're not directing Star Wars. You're not directing this. Okay.
Do you ever have that? You know, you say you get that what if if Heath Ledger was still alive, you could see that Dark Knight Rises
Okay,
version,
where are we going? Yeah.
you know, like the Carrie Fisher kind of idea too. Like you
Okay,
said.
yeah.
So do you ever get that feeling what if we got to see that Colin Trevorrow of Star Wars?
No, not at all. Thank God. The guy
My
directed.
mind completely wiped that possibility from thought.
The guy that directed Looper, who was one of the best sci-fi movies of the year, man, a movie that some people hate and some people love. So the guy who directs Jurassic World is not the guy I want up to bat for episode 9 right now to save everything. I think JJ is the right call.
Wait, is this the guy who directed Looper was?
Who directed Last Jedi? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
He's a great director.
Following it in a backwards way.
You know what's great? Video games. I don't know, do we have any news or should we get to our Patreon question? DH Hansi, I apologize profusely because we're 2 hours and 13 minutes
Well,
in.
she likes to listen to this cast clearly, so she's fine with
I
it.
am still going to let her know when
Yeah.
their question is because we went quite on a few tangents, but thank you for your question. We'll get to it after Taylor.
Taylor's spanking
Amazing
there.
Spider-Man is now officially completed for PS4.
What?
They just announced
What
it.
did you call it?
Amazing Spider-Man.
It's not called Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, I'm an Xbox fan, so.
What does that have to do with anything? thing. That doesn't change how you read shit.
Well, I'm shouting you guys out. Spider-Man is completed for PS4.
Yeah, great.
Nice. Cool, man.
I
You
literally
got a
did
new
think
trailer?
about that the other day. Yeah, we did last week.
Oh, good for you.
I did think about that the other day that we're only weeks away from playing that game, and I am super stoked.
It's a nice thought to have, isn't it?
Yeah, I cannot wait to. Me and Dylan will be playing that. I think Kirk might
I'll
join us.
play it once at Dylan's house.
Okay. Ty will not be on the review though.
I'll send in like a tweet about the.
Don't send
Watch
in
those
tweets.
tweets. Yeah.
And then when you put in a tweet.
I guess also to time
Spell
with that
check.
because we bitched about it on Comic Con, still gonna bitch about it with Iron Fist. It's officially 10 episodes, so that's interesting. They cut
That's
3
nice.
hours out.
It's
So
fun.
yeah, so maybe we won't review. Spider-Man's happening first. Iron Fist will happen when it happens, but Spider-Man, me and Dylan, that's our focus, and plus that's what I want to do. We're not going camping, so we can play Spider-Man that weekend, you know. So that's why we're removing plans.
It's true. The other quick news bit, so No Man's Sky, they've kind of been, since release, they've been releasing content after content. They just released a big patch involving a lot of new stuff. I've watched a couple streams. I haven't downloaded it again to try it. I was going to ask Kirkland tonight how the game was, because I think he's been playing it again.
Those tweets, though.
But those tweets, yeah. But no, I'm happy for them, because like since the game comes out, they just released a bunch of free updates for the game. Over the weekend, I think they had like, I don't know, I can't remember the number, but it was a pretty big number for concurrent players playing on Steam. So I'm happy for them that eventually the games come around. And me and Kirkland were actually pretty positive on the review we did way back in the day. If I had played the game another 20 hours, before doing that review, it probably would have been a different story. But the game was a great foundation it had a great foundation for what could be a great game, and I think it looks like it's getting to that point now. So I'm excited to try it again. I'm happy for the devs, because they got a lot of shit when that game came out.
Rightly so.
A lot.
They
a
lied
lot of
about
shit.
some stuff.
Oh yeah, it was very confident. Like he should have watched his tweets, but he didn't.
No.
And but anyway, now they're back on top. So sometimes you don't gotta watch the tweets. That's the moral of the story here.
Taylor, at some point, I don't know if I trust you. I'm gonna even make it. I want to watch those tweets. Sure, I really do. Cause just watch those tweets.
But you gotta see if that joke lasts. Because right now it's been like 2 casts that we've been doing it. But what if it cools off and we forget about it in a month?
It's gonna last until Guardians 3 comes out, and you know it. You know
We'll
it.
see.
So.
I don't know. I
And
think
it's-
safe animal.
And it's gonna come out with Avengers 4, everything like that.
So you want to watch those tweets, sure, but do you want a James Gunn just his head?
No, I'm not gonna put it in. It's just be probably.
You want his tweets on a shirt.
Oh God!
I don't think anyone wants that.
One thing I
And then
gotta
we're gonna ceremoniously burn it or something. Yeah.
One thing I gotta shout out for the listeners. So when Dylan was talking about how Kirkland had a positive review, I made like a sign to make it look like they were paid, and then Taylor in the corner was like he wanted to laugh, but he wouldn't, because he made it almost like he was inferring that you were paid for the review. He's like,
I definitely got paid for the review. $0 and 0 cents.
Anything else before we get to our Patreon
Let's
question?
get to the Patreon question.
Let's get to the Patreon question.
DH Nancy, a fan, she gave us a question
Big
on
fan.
our 3-year anniversary. She's a Patreon supporter. Cheap plug, go to Patreon, because you can send in a question about anything personal, geek-related stuff, and you get early content. You get Gauntlet, you get Spider-Man Retros
Oh,
early, you
yeah.
get the Star Wars Retro that's going to be happening.
Count me in.
You get a bunch of stuff. There's other stuff we can't announce. But
I'd pay for it if I didn't also record it.
yeah, for $1 you get half of it. For $5 you get everything. So After 9, that was. You know what? Also got to show. Thank you. Lots of people hit us up about After 9.
Very risky for us to post it.
Oh,
we
yeah,
did
big time.
anyway because whatever.
Yeah.
And it worked out well.
Okay, yeah.
There is a second After 9 episode. I will not be posting that for podcast listeners for a while. I posted the first one to give you guys an appetizer, so now when you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we kept saying After 9's on Patreon, but no one ever listened to it except for our Patreon people. So now you know. So they're very laid back cast. We give a warning before every cast. That's our watch list.
Yeah, there's a bunch of random people that walked in and were
Yep.
hanging out as we were recording it.
Yeah.
Big mess. But
So we
if
played.
you liked it, you liked it.
Yeah,
So
we
thank
played
you.
Monopoly and bullshitted. The next ones we play Bang, and I think in the near future we'll probably record some more because they're fun for us. And yeah, so thank you very much for those people, and thank you very much for DH Hansey. I'm excited to hear your new single whenever it drops.
Ooh,
Yeah,
hot fire.
that's not what it's called, but maybe I'll try to
That's
get
what
a scoop.
That's what people say about music.
That's what the kids say?
That's what the kids say. I'm not kidding anymore. I'm like 98 years old.
Wow. But you know what she did say? She asked, what are our 3 favorite consoles? But there is an asterisk by it that we have to give our favorite game with that console. So do we want to go in blocks of us give our 3 or 1 by 1?
I think 3.
Okay.
Just the whole thing per person when they go.
I'm going to go first because I have a cop-out answer for my last one.
Okay.
First one, GameCube. I think it's probably my favorite console. I'm not gonna.
It has a handle.
That's a bold.
How many
statement.
consoles have a handle?
That's the main reason. Many great games on here. My favorite is not going to be the classic Smash Bros, but it is up there because Smash Bros. Melee is. I am no pro like they are, but it is.
I'm not a pro. I've never. Actually, I've made about $5.
Either way, I do not play to the same amount that these guys do, but I still love. I'm like. You know how you would like Marvel, but you don't like dive deep in the comics and stuff like that. Like that's my Smash Bros. I love it, but I know there's a barrier for me.
You're a casual fan.
Sure, I won't say casual. That's putting it lightly,
Okay. Anyway, go on.
Do you think I'd be a casual fan if it's in my top 10? I still like its merits. I just know I can't get that good.
But you like it as a casual game. You don't like it as a competitive game.
Fair enough. So yeah, there's that. There's Star Fox Adventures. Love that fucking game. I've been replaying it months ago, but I want to complete it. I've been so close. Mario Sunshine, I love that. I don't care what people say. I know people say, 64 is better, but I love that game. But my favorite one's Luigi's Mansion. Obviously, Luigi's Mansion. I'm a big horror guy. I love the context of it, or I love the plot of it. Just Mario gets kidnapped by King Boo, and the amount of levels they have in that game, and when you think it's done, it's like, oh, there's a new house or this, and there's even like those were the early days of like a game plus mode, which was so rare back in the day. Like, oh, you can go in and play different houses. So I love Luigi's Mansion. If you want to hear more, go to our top 10 video games we did our first year, because we talked about also top 10 video games again in depth about Luigi's Mansion. But and I'm a big Luigi guy. Luigi over Mario any day.
Very underrated.
Nintendo 64 would be my next one. Plethora of good games. Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64. Mario Kart, but I'm gonna go with Mario Party 2 because it's just the game I've played the most. I love board games. I fucking love Monopoly. I get super competitive with that stuff. That's my Smash Bros. There's no competitive Mario Party, but if there was, I'd be all up in that. 1 and 2 are good, or 1 and 3 are good, but 2 is my favorite. I love these. You get to see Mario and Luigi dress up in cowboy hats and costumes. The stages are great. The mini games are great. I play that so much. We have not played in a long time. We have to do that soon. And then my last one. This is where the cop out. I want to say PS4 because I love the console. I love the dashboard. I love the controller. I love the way it works. I love a lot of games. But I can't pick it because the cycle's not over. And I honestly, why would it be a cop-out? Because I would just think I'm going to pick Spider-Man. Maybe it's getting disappointing, but I just know it's going to be my favorite game of that console if it is the quality.
Sure.
But so that's why I'm going to go PS2. Great library of games. And I'm just going to go SmackDown Here Comes the Pain because that was a fantastic wrestling game. I played it so much.
Not one that I
so many
expected.
choices.
There is no, but I'm one of the games I played the most, and it was for rest. Everyone still says it's either that or No Mercies, like these top tier wrestling games, and that's our Smash Melee.
Everyone says that.
Wrestling. I said wrestling.
I've never said that in my life.
But Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain is our melee. It had the stacked roster, had great story mode, it had a bunch of match types in there, and this is when like the graphics now are shit, but it made quite a bit of leap too. So yeah, it's a phenomenal game. A shout out to 2007 SmackDown vs. Raw because I love the GM mode. But yeah, I'll go PS2. Lots of great games. Shout out to Winback. Big Winback fan over here. So
Winback.
yeah, shout out to Lord of the Rings games. Those are phenomenal. I know me and Dylan tried to play them recently, but we're gonna do it one time.
We'll try.
Crush Hour. So those are my 3: N64, GameCube, and the PS2. But probably PS4 out.
My list is going to have a couple crossovers with you. I'm going to start with the easy one. That's GameCube.
Oh yeah. Is that your number one? Like console? And we're not.
It's a hard question because Melee is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might always be, and it has been for a long time. But the console as a whole, like I think GameCube, some of its like first party exclusives were actually a little bit of letdowns in some ways. Like I don't really like Mario
Sunshine?
Yeah, Sunshine never really did it for me.
There's a lot of people like that, yeah.
And like Metroid Prime is cool, but it hasn't aged very well, I'll say. And I don't know, even back in the day, it wasn't like my favorite game per se. And I didn't play the Star Fox games actually on the console, but I still played a shit ton of other games. Like Simpsons Hit and Run was one of my favorite games when I was younger. You know, the Tony Hawk games, I love those Tony Hawk games so much. Where there's, you know, Strikers on there.
Oh yeah, I didn't even that. Yeah, Strikers.
There's a lot of games, you know, Rampage. You know, maybe some games that aren't the greatest games of all time, but I still love playing these games as a kid. Double Dash is also, you know, really solid game. But yeah, Melee takes it. It's just it can't be contested really. So
I thought you brought up a valid point though, because Knights of Republic is my second favorite game, but I could never put just the Xbox as my top 3, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Oh no. I just see your smile when I said Xbox. Sorry, oh no.
Well, actually,
Xbox
I'm
360.
putting Xbox 360 as I'll put it as number 2.
Yeah.
I don't. It's hard for me to pick what game I would choose to represent it. I'd probably end up going with Halo 3 because Halo 3 had a lot of fun, you know, between the single player and the campaign. And that was one of those games that I went through and got all the achievements, played all through on Legendary and all that stuff. But then also just the deep run of multiplayer. You know, there were so many different game types. I wasn't super competitive with it. I watched a few, some of the competitive stuff here and there, but I don't know. I still played the ranked mode online and had a ton of fun with that. And all my friends were playing it back in the day, so I just have so many good memories. And the Forge mode, you know, just gave this kind of endless quality to it, where years after the game was coming out, people were still making cool maps, and you know, whether it was just some cool driving map or some, you know, acrobatic challenge, or it's some combat map. The game had so much to it, and I still me and my cousin and another one of our friends would play on the map High Ground, and we would just role play on this map. So I was the town cop, and then my cousin was the car salesman, and then our other friend was the banker, and we would do this for hours on end. I don't even know how in retrospect we did this, but it was just something that the game offered as well. And there's so many layers with Halo 3, so you know what, I'm very confidently going to pick that as my Xbox 360 rep. But I mean, you know, a lot of other shooters on that console, you know, there's a bunch of other Halo games. Used to love the Call of Duty games back in the day. Fable and Crackdown, Sneak King is a classic. Yeah, and then even just the Xbox Arcade, I loved browsing the arcade. I had so many sweet games on there. Trials, Uno Rush, Impossible Game. There's so many that was seriously, that console's really important. Honestly, it might be the one I have the most playtime on out of any, actually Melee has a big stake in that. But honestly 360 might be my most played console. You know, GTA as well. Wow, there's a lot of games. 360 ran deep.
Yeah.
It goes hard. Now, my last pick. This is kind of a tricky one. Those first two were, when I saw the question, those were immediately I knew those two were gonna be on there. This third one, I'm not gonna give it to PS4. Not for the same reason as you, Travis. There is some amazing games on there, but I've also been, you know, between Horizon Dawn and I've played Dark Souls 3 on there. It's become one of my favorites. There is some amazing games, but I've also been let down by a few. So I think I'm gonna follow you, Travis, as well. I'm gonna go with N64 on this one because that one also is very, you know, important for my childhood. I have such fond memories of it. I'm gonna give my favorite game from that console, the Super Mario 64. Just, you know, movement is something I always look for in games, and often newer games, if it's just not fun to move around, I don't play the game for more than half an hour, and then I move on. Super Mario 64 is a game that obviously the controller hasn't aged so well, but it still has some of the best movement in any video game I've ever seen in my life. I love speedrunning. Well, I don't really speedrun myself, but I watch a lot of speedruns, keep up to date on a lot of the games. Super Mario 64 is the one that's timeless. I can always enjoy watching, you know, people just destroy that game, how good they've gotten at it. But, you know, back in the day, between that and Smash Bros, Donkey Kong 64, GoldenEye, Mario Party 2 was another favorite. Seriously, an amazing console. And I mean, I remember at the time it was pretty revolutionary, really. The 3D aspect of it was pretty mind-blowing. And yeah, I don't know, it's obviously not so mind-blowing anymore. It's pretty low polygon count, but yeah, I have such fond memories of that console. And even though mine doesn't work so well anymore, and the controllers kind of suck, it still is going to make it into that top 3 for me.
Just wait for that 64 classic.
Yeah, seriously, I'll buy that. Give it to me, Feige.
Alright, before we get into it, are we going to consider PC a console?
I wouldn't.
Okay, there you go. It is, you're right. I just want to clarify that. So,
console rings.
I do have a...
It doesn't have the personality of a console.
I would disagree, but there you go. So, For me, this one was fairly straightforward, at least, but
At least. What about most?
pretty complicated.
Okay.
But I've really only owned 2 consoles, and then there's only a third one that I've actually played quite
He's gonna
often.
put PS4 because he's gonna buy it.
So I was actually thinking about putting PS4 on there. But
Just
I
'cause
didn't.
it's trending, yeah.
So I'll start with the classic GameCube Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think that just for me and Dylan too, like the amount of years and time I put into this, despite never even owning a GameCube myself, and how influential it's been.
The community that transpired.
My
from
life.
it.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of, like the friendships that like. It's kept our friendship going. I'm sure we would still be friends even without it, but it's kept things going.
Dylan's told me that.
And the fact that like it's something that I can like
Delete those tweets.
I can see myself playing Melee when I'm like 50 years from now.
I'm gonna try.
It's
My
gonna be-
fingers might not love it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
They'll have perfected like the gamepads and whatnot for
It's
it.
gonna be
so.
banned by
The telekinetic
Exactly.
controller. Yeah.
VR Melee.
I can't wait for that where I can actually not mess up an input ever.
Yeah.
That's the day.
Wow. So yeah, I think it's a game I'll be playing for the rest of my life, and I think just like the community I have so many memories over the years of us playing it. So it's just for me, it's such an amazing game, and just the depth to it, and as a game, and both what it's brought to my life as a game, and just what revolves around the game is just so insane for just a simple video game that was made so long ago.
It's got some power.
It's crazy. So for me, that one is like it goes without any thought. It just has to be on there. Other than that, it's very easy for me, console wise, because I literally only owned a PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 other than that, and then I just made the jump to PC gaming. So those are the other 2 ones, I guess. Actually, I did think about putting Game Boy Advance on there for a small amount of
not
time.
bad.
I considered that as well.
Yeah.
Didn't have as deep of a run of games, but still got 5 more saving stones. So.
Because before, back when before really I got into console gaming, like all I had was the handheld, and that was a good run.
It was.
It's a very good run. I was gonna put, I'll just say it because I was gonna put Mario Tennis. I think the game was Power Tour. Or it might be the other. I think that's the only Mario Tennis. I think it was the only Mario Tennis one on the Game Boy Advance. But that one I put so much time into that on every road trip, camping trip, anywhere I left that wasn't the house. And even at the house, I played that game. And I straight up picked up tennis, and I learned how to play tennis from that game, and I still play tennis today. So
on this very day, did you play tennis?
Not today, but I played it within like 2 weeks' time
It's
with
true.
you. So it's like that. The more thing about that, like that had a huge influence on me, and I really love that game, and I could probably pick up a Game Boy and still play it.
Is it going in your top 3?
Oh, now I want to put it in there. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in there.
Nice.
Game Boy Advance, Mario Tennis. I want to find a Game Boy Advance and with that cartridge and still play it. So that's the one.
Sacred Stone as well, another great game.
You know what? I was gonna put PlayStation 2, but I've just bumped PlayStation 2 out of there because of Game Boy Advance.
Take that, Sony.
So now my honorable mention would be PlayStation 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, as our patron member also said. I mean, that's a classic choice, but it's a great game. I put so many hours into that.
Snow, here comes the pain.
Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. But yeah, and then finally Xbox 360. This one's a tough one. The game itself is a very tough one. It's split between Gears of War and Halo 3. However, I'm going to go with Halo 3.
Oh, wow.
Just because of the memories from just playing online. Just not even playing like the game itself, just like doing stupid stuff. I remember I spent so much time in Forge making maps, and they weren't even like actually playable maps, but I just made cool bases and stuff. I was like, this is sweet. I remember straight up making a floating map where on like one of the very big ones, and it's just a floating map, and it was literally just like 2 air bases, and all you had was like flyable vehicles, and you just go down and do air flights, air battles and stuff, and so much fun. And just the amount of hours spent online playing with friends, playing by myself, doing stupid things like experimenting with how far you can shoot a warthog across one of the maps using explosives that drop from like 50 feet in the air. And it's like, why am I doing this? But it was so much fun. So that easily goes for the best map, and just like the amount of game modes you can make, just to have fun. Like we played zombie game modes, and And just the online of that game just had such good depth to it. Like
Mhm.
for
Solid mechanics.
like I would say at least a console is probably one of the first like big competitive like one.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that like it really took esports to another level as far as those things go. So I think for me like that's as far I just love that game. Gears and also between Gears of War I think I would prefer to put it as like an entire series. As far as the game trilogy goes,
Yeah.
Gears takes it, but as far as a single game, Halo 3 for sure. So yeah, those are my top ones right there.
Top ones.
Yeah, toppers.
This is tricky because I have, you know, so many different games that I just, for me, memories, nostalgic, and everything that I just go to. And especially like my number one, like game wise, what's so funny? My number one console that I have to put out there easily is Xbox 360, 110%. The game I would have to go with, just based on like my memories and just like having fun with friends, would be Modern Warfare 2. Just after school, there's just everyone from like my grade we'd all have each other added on our friends list, and we'd all go home and we'd just play Michael Myers and just all these other game modes on Modern Warfare 2, and just had so much fun. It was just, that was it. Like, and just I jumped onto the bandwagon of Xbox kind of late because my first console that I got was I guess a GameCube, and then after that, you know, I got the jump on Xbox. But after I got my Xbox, you know, Call of Duty World at War, Halo 3 already were out there for a few years, and so I was jumping in late. But you know, I didn't feel like I missed much. I was able to get into there pretty quick and enjoy a lot of it. So I definitely would have to shout out Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Halo 4. Those are some other games I had great fun, like multiplayer wise, and some great memories with my friends. Just midnight launches and that sort of stuff. Just great times.
Well, I'm surprised Assassin's Creed doesn't get the favorite game, or is that still coming up?
What do you mean?
Like favorite game of a console, I'm surprised.
Favorite game of console? Like, it's my favorite, but I'm looking at it more or less like memory-wise, what I had the most fun with my friends, like on Xbox.
I didn't have those, so I don't want to know.
Oh, I don't know what to say to that.
I got them eventually.
My second pick, I would put GameCube. I remember GameCube went on sale. Again, I got into the train really late with GameCube, but it went on sale.
How does it justify your purchase?
I ain't buying that $1 more.
My mom came home and she bought me a GameCube. My sister bought me a GameCube the same day. I got 2 GameCubes, and my mom returned hers. My sister.
Okay, good.
My sister.
Why'd you
I would
return
have
that
took
one?
both the GameCubes.
My sister got
That's just
me.
what Melee said.
The one she got me had Star Fox Assault and Animal Crossing, and my
Uh-huh.
mom didn't get me the games with hers.
Oh.
So.
Did she realize
Fuck you,
you're supposed to
Mom.
play games on it? Come on, Mom. What are you doing?
So
Delete that
that's
bank
what I got, and soon after, it didn't take long before I brought all my spare change to buy Melee at the GB Games. The guy told me I couldn't buy it with the change. I had to go to the bank and get it rolled.
What a dick.
Actually,
Did he actually say that?
He actually said that.
Yeah, he's.
Fire that man.
So it was literally a lot of change.
He
It was
just
a lot
didn't
of
want to cut that shit.
quarters.
He doesn't get paid more if
His
Taylor
dad-
buys this game or not.
His dad owned a Dutch, so he had a problem at the fields.
But yeah, no, I did that, and then I got my Smash Brothers, and then my grandparents got me Strikers. It just was this continued chain of just awesomeness. And my favorite game, I have to say though, purely like memory wise, would have to be Mario Party 7. Me and my cousin, honestly, we stayed up. we honestly stayed up
The
so
left field
late.
is over there.
we would just, whenever we'd have like sleepovers, just play all night. It'd be Mario Party. Like there'd be a ton of Smash Brothers. That's the runner up to that because we played Melee all the time. But just Mario Party 7.
All the time.
All the time? Oh yeah. All the time we'd have a
Oh, yeah.
sleepover.
But not
we-
when you were playing.
Mario Party 7.
Yeah.
No, not that time.
Yeah.
But all the other time.
So less than 50% of the time.
Yeah, you could say
So
that.
not so much
Yeah.
there.
No, not
Um,
that time.
But you know, I mean, that playing Melee, that's where I learned, like, you know, like my character's like, oh, I like go to Link and that stuff. That's what set me up on my Smash Brothers
Career,
yeah. But no, like Mario Party 7, me and my cousin Dylan, we got, yeah, my cousin's name is Dylan actually.
You said I'm not your cousin?
No, you aren't my cousin, but my cousin's name is actually Dylan, so
How is it spelled?
same as you.
Zachary Montgomery.
But yeah, no, we just had so much fun playing
Eliminated.
Mario Party. It was such a great time, so many good memories.
Eliminated.
But my
When you eliminated
Can't
from-
suss the muss.
My last pick
guy.
for round 3 here, Game Boy Advance SP.
What'd you say, sir?
Game Boy Advance SP.
Why SP specifically?
I didn't get a Game Boy Advance. I got.
Are there games that are only on the SP and not on the Game Boy
No,
Advance?
same thing, but SP was the
Why do you have to
SP
specify
was
the
the SP was the flip one, and the Game Boy Advance was just the handheld.
Why do you get a flip?
Hmm?
Because that's what he had.
That's what my parents got
Okay.
me. I wasn't
Alright.
able. I wasn't
Stop
at a point
growing.
where I could buy this stuff on my own. I was too young, so my parents was like, "Here you go," and they bought me a Game Boy Advance SP. And so with it, I got so many awesome games. Like I got Batman: Rise of Sintazu,
That's a
which was
it's
I
a game,
love
right?
that. love that
I liked
game.
it for what it was. It was pretty fun.
But there's some other games. My favorite
The
game.
Incredibles game?
What's that?
Did you ever play the Incredibles game on that one?
No, I wanted to.
It's a classic. I still have it.
You still have it?
Yeah.
My game I'll shut out with it though is Pokemon Sapphire.
Of course.
I have put
Sapphirus.
I've clocked in over 500 hours playing that game. I have done so many awesome stuff.
Rookie
Like,
numbers.
honestly, as a little kid, just seeing how much I haven't played it in obviously over a decade. So, but it's just as a little kid and clocking in that much time and just looking for every single secret and exploring every inch of that game and trying to find out so many different things.
Sounds like
It's just
former dating life.
it's just I dedicated so much of my time trying to find so many different things, and when I would discover like a new secret, like getting Rayquaza or like something like that, it would just be so exhilarating. And just playing again with like my cousin Dylan, he'd be playing Fire Red and just be trading Pokemon. And there's just I have so many good memories on that.
Delete those secrets.
Delete those secrets. But then again, like I have to shut up. Like there were so many Bionicle games I had on
Oh,
Game
God.
Boy and everything. There's
so many. How many?
I have
500
Mostly because I'm curious how many Bionicle
I have
games
2,
there
but I
was.
think there's like 3 or 4.
Oh, so you didn't have them all.
Didn't come
No,
over
I was very limited because I didn't have my own source of income. I relied on my
really?
parents.
Stealing is always an
Now you
option.
do.
Now I do. But for some reason, these games have gone up.
Just getting
Games are
excited.
expensive.
He's touching his nipples right now.
Just
He's
show them
showing
what it
my
means to be a man.
It's a very nice new T-shirt I got for myself.
What is
Actually.
it?
Delete those nipples.
Yeah, new shorts too. Old Navy.
Right
Oh.
on.
Sponsor, not our sponsor. But
Why YMCA?
Didn't wait to go do our shopping
First
trip, eh?
tease.
Yeah, we have to get suits together.
Apparently.
Or are we getting suits or just clothes?
Who?
Well, I'll figure that out.
Wait, you guys are buying suits together?
Madison wants me to change his attire.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is.
some more geek.
Because on not GeekVerse, I dress pretty classy now, so.
Oh, you are wearing dress clothes today.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do that every day now.
Not on GeekVerse. I can do the geek shirts, you know, represent the culture. But when I'm out, when I'm going out to the clubs, when I'm having dinner, you know, when I'm going to a movie.
You're gonna take me to the clubs.
Really?
Wait, when we go to the movie as a geek first, you're dressing up real nice.
Probably polos, stuff like that. Not the full-on dress shirt or
Polo?
suit, but, you know, polos.
Do you worry you might compromise it from all that butters? You know,
Oh yeah,
the
for sure.
popcorn
Gonna
bag?
fuck up my khaki dress pants, so.
Khaki.
We all done then, folks?
Mostly.
DHNC, thank you for the question, because we had no other video game news really, except for Amazing Spider-Man's completed. But other than that, we did not. So Taylor, where can they find us on this epically long episode? It's a good discussion, 2 hours and 40 minutes, so
I don't know
That's
how it ended up being
almost
that
3
long.
hours.
we talked. That's almost Return the King.
Return that king, Taylor.
Delete that king!
Ladies and gentlemen out there, you can find us the internet connection because you know internet's good. You want to have it. Travis does
I
it.
got no internet now, moving.
Someone say internet's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
Say
being
that,
told.
Travis?
Because look at the tweets it's provided.
Do you know that delete your
without those
Twitter account?
tweets, James Gunn would be directing Gunn in Syria now.
That's true. So, you know,
Right
you have
now.
to delete your tweets, delete it.
In this
If not,
moment.
that's good. But, you know, tune in to our Facebook. It is literally, you go and sign up to Facebook. In the search bar, you type in GeekVerse, hit the
GVP.
space bar, podcast, and there's an awesome profile picture, awesome cover photo, and there's awesome stuff as you scroll down. Literally, maybe there's a poll or two. I don't know. I haven't looked recently, but it's
There's
good.
not. There's no polls.
That takes
If you
away
work
the
hard
mystery.
enough, you'll find them.
I'll give you a poll, right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta delete that tweet. I've shut up. I
You're
just said
overusing
before.
that, Travis. You need to tone it down.
No. Did James Gunn tone his tweets down back
did,
in 2010?
he did.
Back in 2010? No,
He
no.
experienced character development. Are you gonna do that?
In 8 years, I'll put out a statement saying, you know what, I shouldn't have said delete that tweet so much. But you know what you can do? Find the Geek First. I sent the links all. You can go find the links down below. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back Friday with Christopher Robin review. Until then, it will not be boring.
Good afternoon.
Later, nerds.